Hey everyone, it's Dia here, and I've got a very special
I really don't need to say anything. Jarke just IGLs us perfectly, and then me and OJ just shoot our guns. It's that simple. Doing better than Alliance. That all that matters.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Apex Legends Global Series. We are back for match day 3 of EMEA, and we had a big weekend of a doubleheader to kick things off in Pro League last time around, and now it's time to get back into the thick of it. My name is Glitter Explosion, and I will be your host for today. I'm joined by two familiar faces, one you may not have seen for a little bit, but we have Onset and Bravo ready to talk you through all of our action today. Mark, how you feeling?
Man, it feels good to be back. I'm not gonna lie. It feels like a long time since I got to cast some Apex, and to do it alongside you two, it feels even better. An amazing match day today. 2 great match days to kick off the season. Now match day 3 is really where things start to kind of even out a bit. Everyone feels a little bit more comfortable, so I'm excited to see how the games go.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good weekend for sure. And speaking of a long time since we've seen someone, Bravo, it has been a while, but we are so excited to have you back. Thoughts on coming back to join us for year 6?
So excited. I think it's an amazing time for the game. It's an amazing time for comp right now. Like Mark said, match days 1 and 2 were fantastic. And to now have the 2 lobby leaders in Aurora and Pod coming together on match day 3, it's going to be a spicy one.
Well, a perfect little segue to kick the day off. Let's start talking about what happened last weekend, specifically with Aurora, okay? Because they had an absolutely insane performance to kind of kick off the weekend here, Mark.
Yeah, not bad. I'll give it to them. Not bad. Second, third, second, first, third. Don't worry about match 6. They've done the job by then. But an amazing performance from them. All the talk was about Effect, understandably, going into this season, the big move from Alliance. But let's not forget, you know, there's a lot of talent on this lineup. You've got LAN finals qualifiers every single time in OJ. And then, of course, you've got ALGS championship winner in Hyaka IGLing. So a fantastic day for them. Not just the placements, but the kills alongside it. They really did look absolutely unbelievable on their first match day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, talk about their comps as well, Lauren, right?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to throw to you, Andy, because I know that you've been doing a lot of like research behind the scenes. Talk to me about what Aurora was bringing to the table in that regard.
Yeah, I love the role flexibility from this team. Also, they're running off comps, different comps on the rest of the lobby, not just in EMEA, but you could say different than almost every other region. Just the way that they're playing this, and like you just saw, picking each other up. I think one thing we got to talk about is the boot camp buff. This team looks so good. The vibes were so strong even before match day 1. So to now have had that performance on match days 1 and 2 in terms of week 1 coming in, just the team has got to be feeling good.
Yeah, and let's start deep diving these comps a little bit, okay? Because obviously the buffs to Gibby were a big boon for this current meta, and we're starting to see a little bit of a dichotomy. We definitely saw some of those baby comps coming through across multiple of our regions, and it definitely shook things up in that first weekend, Andy. So let's break it down a little bit further.
Yeah, I love what these guys are running. Anyone who watched would have been like, okay, there's a ramp game 1 from Aurora, but not just that. They run ramp Newcastle games 2 and 3 into exclusively Sparrowbang comps for the rest of the game. So regardless of what the rest of the lobby was doing, they were doing their own thing. They're commanding space in such unique ways. Keep in mind, those 2 comp sets require different ways to command space, and my God, did they ever do it in such a commanding way. I was blown away by it, and like I said, no one else is really doing this ever. There's a lot of Maggie teams, there's a lot of Gibby Newcastle teams, there's no one else really doing exactly this, which was just really special to watch. And you can watch game after game. Let's not forget, a 9.5 positive damage differential on the day, which is an insane stat to have 9,500 extra damage than the rest of the lobby. And on top of that, if you talk about top 3, 5 out of 6 games, I mean, it's just an unbelievable match day from them. And we should also contrast that, Mark, with Pot, right? That's an all Maggie team. Very, very good games from them. They just did it in a different way.
Yeah, again, an aggressive comp that's going to counter, which has been a comp we're going to talk about in a few moments' time, because, you know, these 2 teams are very talented. They're good shooters. You heard it from Effect. You know, I just shoot my gun. If you've got the best shooters in the game shooting your gun, you're going to have success. And these 2 teams certainly did it, helped with their compositions.
And as we get a chance to take a look at that comp that you were specifically talking about, Mark, it is this baby comp, right? The Gibby, the Newcastle plus. So break this down a little bit for me.
Oh, baby comp by name, baby comp by nature in some ways, I guess, because you take yourselves back to Sapporo of last year, not the most recent ALGS championships in our support meta. And this kind of like revives a little bit of that meta game with the double bubble walling, you know, super survivability that you have with the combination of Gibraltar and Newcastle. A lot of people have seen the value in this. It's very good for securing placements in games. You combine that with Valkyrie, you don't even have to run a console. This is a console-less composition, which is something we really haven't seen in these 6 years of the ALGS. So it's fantastic to watch teams trying something different, teams really outthinking what has been the traditional way to play Apex Legends. Now they're just getting into the zone, Valkyrie ulting into a spot, and with Gibraltar and Newcastle and the cooldowns they have on their abilities, any spot is a good spot. So you can survive and you can thrive, and a lot of teams are making the most of that at the moment.
And one of those teams, Andy, specifically, let's do a little bit of compare and contrast here. HM versus Bandits, because we saw HM running along those lines.
Yeah, absolutely. HM is a baby comp team. If anyone watched this team in scrims leading into match day 1, they had a 95-point scrim block with 4 wins on baby comp, on the Valk. I love Nono, the IGL there, just an incredible percentage IGL. He only takes fights in situations if it makes sense, if it's a percentage fight they should take. He'll take the widest rotates on baby comp. I'm talking like settlement to shipyard, back up to Lotus level rotates, where he'll just take the widest route, get purple, and like Mark said, Valk ult in. On the other side, though, Bandits, Light, Henchmen, and Kinda, they're actually an outlier. They're plays really well in terms of their overall placement. You could see second match day 1 placement, but actually a huge negative damage differential, mostly due to alter bang reset comps. And Mark, like you and I watched, we had to watch the VOD, because when you have negative 3,000 damage, we had to go in. We're like, okay, it's not baby comp. They have negative 3,000 damage. what's going on? And then Mark and I watched them in zone for like 6 minutes straight, just medkit. So that explained it. Yeah.
A lot of solo moments, shall we say, of trying to reset in the game. And Light had some really amazing solo moments as well. So yeah, that's where the damage differential kind of came in. The zone did a lot of that for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just kind of one piece of the puzzle that we saw really coming into play when it comes to our inaugural weekend for Pro League, because we also kind of need to talk about our legend bans. This was another big surprise, especially on the first day in EMEA, specifically in relation to the fact that we watched Alter make it all the way through match 5 before she was banned out for the final game of the series. So, I mean, this is just another weird situation, to say the least here, Mark, because we were not expecting Alter to last that long.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shift, right? It's a shift in what legends were expecting to see banned at certain points. It's another change from what has become the norm. It's different from what has been seen in scrims as well. So teams are trying different things, and it's also a great indication of how strong the legend pool is now. You can replace one legend with another and not feel like you're at a massive disadvantage all of a sudden. Also kind of folding into this, Alter making it so deep into the bans, is the maps, right? When you're starting on Olympus, maybe Alter isn't going to be the best legend for you to play. If it's E District, maybe that's a little bit different, but we are seeing a difference of 1 or 2 picks making the difference.
Yeah, and you can see that reflected here in the fact that Alter was banned out a little bit earlier, making it this time only through 2 of those matches before being banned out for match 3. So, I mean, this is one of those things where we're loving the variety chat. Also, if you're here, let us know your thoughts on, tweet at us, and maybe guess the legend ban order this time around. We'll see if it's any similar situation to what we saw last weekend. But Andy, I think this is just, you know, another important thing for everybody to be keeping their eyes on, because it will change the way the games can play out.
It absolutely is. I mean, especially in there, we get the Alter game 2 ban, right? But then we get the Caustic ban late. So as Mark said, the legend strength, and as you said, Lauren, the legend variety right now is such that even if you think a few of the bans should go their normal way, you're going to get a later one. And as you both hinted to, having ED first is going to change the ban order for sure.
And, you know, we're talking about the maps. We're talking about how well all of our teams have done. We're going to take a look at these standings so everybody at home can see what that meant after last weekend. We've got Priya, Nikki, and Gigi at the tippy top of our standings. Only 1 point separating the 2 of them, Andy. So it's still a really tight leaderboard.
It is. Priya, Nikki, I think maybe staying together despite their pre-match day 1 comms. Some of those tweets suggested that they might not be playing together that long. Instead, though, they sit to the top of the table, and I think they're like, no, we're all good. We're all good.
Yeah, but upon reflection, we are first place. So maybe we play a few more games.
The big column to look at here, though, of course, is going to be series played. Look at Aurora with only 1 series played. Pot as well, right next to them after both achieving first on match day 1. They've got 25 points. Keep in mind, Blessed has 2 series played and only 3 more points. So that tells you just how strong Aurora and Pot looked, and they're now going to face off against one another today.
Yeah, speaking of those teams, we have a stacked lobby today. It is groups B and C facing off for the first time this split this year. And like, you know, Andy mentioned, Marco, there are some big names in here.
Yeah, I mean, after the first couple of match days, all the talk was about Aurora and Pot, and it still is coming into today. But let's not forget, there's a little team called Alliance who have been finding a bit of chemistry, finding how to work out some of the kinks in some of their fighting that's been going on recently, and they are involved today as well. You've got some, of course, some very well-known names in the lobby as well. Made in Heaven are going to have a much better day than they did last time as well. Some of the talent on that team. So I think today it's going to be about the things settling down a little bit when it comes to compositions, what people are happy with getting used to the recent patch and how legends are interacting with each other. So I think today is about consistency for these teams and putting into practice what they have been practicing.
100%. And as always, for everybody at home, if you guys want to keep up with all of the action we have going on throughout the entire year, just follow us on social media. That's at Play Apex Esports on X, on YouTube, Insta, and TikTok. Especially make sure you're following the Insta and TikTok. Those are our newest ones. And at Play Apex on Twitch. As long as you're following along in there, you won't miss a single second of anything that we have going on throughout all of our competitive year. And speaking of another thing that was brand new this season, our new multi-view, okay? It is amazing. Head on over to algs.ea.com to get your multi-view set up to 12 POVs in this multi-view. It is absolutely insane. It's a really good way to personalize your ALGS experience, watch your favorite teams, your favorite players, hear those comms, and of course the map feed, so you can watch how everything is playing out in real time. Make sure you are checking that out. For now, we've gotten through everything. It's time for us to start diving into the action. Match number 1 is ready to go. So guys, let's get into it.
Thank you very much, Lauren. Here we go then, Andy. Great to be back with you, brother. It feels like it's been a long time, but I'm sure that seat has been warm enough for you to slide back into. It's going to be a great day of action. We're starting off with EMEA here, and understandably, a lot of talk about the performances of Pot and Aurora coming into this week. We're going to start off with E-District today, so a little bit of a flip up in our map rotation from previous. What do you think about E-District? What do you think about the teams we've got in this lobby so far?
Yeah, excited to see what these teams could do. There's a few teams that had very strong E-District matches last week. Now, let's not forget, only half the lobby has played ED from last week. The other half has played Olympus, as they had Stormpoint otherwise in match days 1 and 2. So we kind of have results and statistics from half the lobby on each map, which gives us some good question marks about how these teams are going to perform. But I think one thing, Mark, that we alluded to, that's certainly going to be the case, expecting to see a different ban order. I'm not going to try to guess it. I'm not brave enough, but we're going to see a different ban order here in game number 1 for sure.
Yeah, if you do guess it, I don't know. Maybe you're from the future. I don't know. But let's talk about the POI draft, Andy, because some interesting things that you want to highlight here on E-District.
Yeah, a few quick things. I think everyone's going to right away notice that, guess what, Aurora and Alliance next to each other, pretty close once again. They're going to have pretty similar paths as they try to move center map to try to go towards settlement. So you do have Aurora over here at Humbert as well as Alliance at Stadium. They will be near one another. And we also have a few other things to look out for. Specifically, it's Pot. They're central again. They were Canal Plaza last time. This time they're Vibe Isle. So they're going to be nice and central at home for them as they look to reclaim #1 spot yet again.
Well, I hope that everyone who's watching at home right now is as excited as we are to be back on the microphone. It feels like it's been, I'll be honest, too long. But now we're back. We're going to make the most of this. Match day 3 is ready to go here. Starting off with EMEA. And I'm very interested to see some of the comps that have been running on game #1 here. Yeah,
certainly. I think a lot of the teams are going to have different comps. Like you said, when you're looking at Olympus and Stormpoint, it's just simply a different lay of the land for these teams, especially in the current Legend meta. The way you need to approach that is going to be very different. Here, instead, wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of Ultra Costa Crypto just game 1 to kind of, as you said, settle the nerves, get into game #1. But I do expect a few teams to be running some different comps. Specifically, we'll be curious about exactly how Aurora comes in after, as we said, their Rampart games 1, 2, and 3. Last match day was fantastic to see, and they had some very good results on that. So question is for them, how are they going to move around the map, and exactly how will they find themselves? Maybe, Mark, once again, top 3, 5 out of 6 games is very hard to match. We'll see if they can do it once again.
Yeah, I like the Humbert pick for them as well. We've seen quite a lot of zones in scrims pulling down towards that southeastern side of E-District. So maybe that's in the back of the mind of Hiyaka and how he's like to play the games. They like to quick rotate. They like to get to zone, and we'll have to see if he's going to be able to rely on Effect and Oirain to put out that damage to get them those first wins. Well, match #1 is live, everybody. Hopefully you got some snacks. Hopefully you're fully hydrated. If not, well, you're going to get exhausted very quickly. Go and get them because we're into match #1 already.
Yeah, into match #1. Welcome along. So excited to be here for match day number 3. As we said, incredible action across all regions now. And we get to see once these teams have maybe settled into the split a bit, right? The match 1 and match 2 nerves are out of the way, and now they can settle in. And speaking of settling in, at Boardwalk, it was going to be...
Okay. Speaking of settling in, Kashira doesn't get to. That will be... I don't know what happened there.
Wait. Okay.
Was that, okay, was that Krishera? I don't know what's going on there.
That is Eclipse with the settlement drop, trying to split loot Humbert North, and obviously Aurora ready for it.
Yeah, very ready for it, very prepared, and that will be, shall we say, a difficult pill to swallow first thing into the first game.
Okay, we got to check that against the kill timers on ALGS history in terms of time of death for a player, but to cut to a death box before a gun firing is quite something. Yeah, that's exactly what that was. That was a hopeful, greedy, and that tells you how interesting that side of the map is, by the way. Alliance is not far away, but they go for the split loot Eclipse at Humbert North. They get punished.
Yeah, they do indeed. Well, they're going to be able to reset, you would imagine, pretty comfortably here. But Aurora, I would say, flexing their muscles a little bit there over at Humbert Labs. Looking at the zone, though, Andy, we are going up towards the north. We're going out towards ED, Electro Dam, but I'm not sure quite where this one is going to be. Bridge zone, potentially. A lot of teams are going to try and play that height early on. The teams in the surrounding areas, Heights had a ring console, so they're going to know where they're going. See, Vibe Isle, they also had one. Galleria has one, which is going to be very good for teams moving through a little bit later. And Canals as well, Andy, has a ring console. So you're going to have a lot of teams who are arriving late to this zone who are going to maybe play for late ring and console information here to see where that zone's going to pull.
Yeah, also worth noting, in this region, we had that EDAM zone. Now, I agree. I think this is more so pulling bridge because of that southeastern move of this, but we had a very similar zone where Bandits was able to get top 3. But the one thing to highlight there is that Galleria, as well as the E-Bank chokes around Canal Plaza, those got nasty when we saw that played, unsurprisingly. So you make such a good point. The teams that get through that now are not going to have to suffer the consequences later.
Well, Stay Healthy have got to be very, very careful here, because in front of them, you can see a team is approaching and trying to do a little bit of damage. AJ's already had his shields broken, but he's going to be able to get healthy again. It's Novo Esports who are pressurizing here and isolating this fight. There's nobody else anywhere near Street Market at the moment, so this fight is completely isolated, and Novo Esports starting this one out with a little bit of aggression.
Yeah, like you said, nobody even close within a third party. The Vicious still at Neon, but actually the Vicious is I will just say, they're hitting some balloons, so we'll see if they hear all the noise. And actually, they are going to slowly join this, so this could get pretty interesting if they start to join the party too.
Yeah, they're just going for an Evo cache, but like you say, they've neg-rotated for that Evo cache and might just see a little bit of gunfire and think that they might want a little bit of it. It looks like Stay Healthy have managed to retreat from that fight, and everybody is going to be happy. Novo Esports are going to hit the ring console over at Street Market as their reward. And now let's talk about Alliance, Andy, because there's been a lot of talk about Alliance, and the first couple of game weeks, maybe not the most positive. Aku just taking a little bit of time to adjust, I feel, to the way that his IGL Hackers wants to play this game, but one thing you can guarantee is he hits great shots, and that's a great example here as Kings is down to 1 HP, and now he's down to 0. Eclipse
and that
are out.
That's going to be it for Eclipse, and guess what? You're not bouncing back from losing Kashera early. They try, especially on this kind of pull with the movement they have, they're not able to get him back in. But yes, back to Alliance. I think a lot of talk about this team, and for very good reason. You heard Aku talk about in preseason interviews that he thought it would take a little bit of time, that they'd be ready before Pro League in terms of comms, pacing, chemistry. But I think a tough week 1. But I think one thing I want to highlight for them is Huckus pretty much took to Twitter right away and said, we placed 8th when we only really played in 2 games. So clearly a lot of confidence from the squad, and I think, Mark, you and I have noticed, and the whole community has noticed, that scrims for them the past week since match day have looked pretty good. They've had some pretty solid days.
Yeah, certainly been some notable improvements in not just the results, I think, but the interaction between the players in those team fights. Comms, like you say, such a vital part of what Hackis wants from teammates as well. So it feels like Alliance are starting to come together, and with any big change, you're losing effect, you're bringing in any player, there's going to be eyeballs, but also there's going to be some growing pains, and I think that Alliance is starting to come through them now. HM, on your screen, you have done a lot of watching of this team, and you've been very impressed with the young Belgian IGL in NONO and how he approaches these games.
I love watching this team. I think really the thing that put them on my must-watch radar was what I mentioned, 95-point scrim block with 4 wins. You have to tune in. You have to watch those VODs, and it's been amazing to see what they were able to do in week 1. I talked about their negative rotates, by the way. This is your Old Town team right now in Viaduct. This is how they like to play the game, almost regardless of comps. As they start to make their way around, they will now go ahead and evac, but really excited to see if they can repeat here on match day 3.
Yeah, a lot of time being taken here just to make sure that they're up to purples before they have to force their way in towards zone. Of course, they do have a long way to go, even from their drop down at Old Town. So they're just going to be taking their time to make sure that they put themselves in the best position with the most Evo armor available to do so. Awakened up on this high ground, they're going to be overlooking a lot of the traffic who's coming in here, and you can see how quickly they're rotated as well, because Missy has got Spitfire with 0 attachments on it.
yeah, it was a fast move from them indeed. They were actually the team that actually is going to be your EDAM team. They're going to pop right up to this height, and in about 10 seconds or so, we'll see exactly what they need to do next, because it's going to really indicate just how many teams, specifically from the west, need to start moving down to the southeast.
Yeah, it's interesting to see, just looking at our map overhead right now, a lot of teams already inside of that zone. A lot of teams have made that rotation very, very early, and we are going to continue to pull towards Electro Dam. That bridge is looking like a very, very good position in the late game. It's a risk to play it early, Andy, as we've seen many teams fail, but if you can take some of the positions under that bridge, it can be good. But no Newcastle really popular in this first set of compositions that we're seeing. Maybe that position doesn't become as playable due to the lack of castle wall.
Yeah, exactly. And also one other interesting thing to note, you just saw that Aurora, of course, on the Maggie. And speaking of, it's Aurora and Alliance here in the early game.
Oh, and it's going to be Aurora who get that first knock, but it's going to be tied up almost instantaneously. Hyaka from distance here with the L-Star, of all things, in his hands, doing a little bit of damage. OJ's going to be down, and he's going to... It's kind of even the numbers at the moment. You can see it's a 2v2 right now. Babylon's having a little bit of a look at this right now, but Aurora, the good thing for them is that they are going to be able to get the reds by the looks of things. Aku did manage to find some damage, but now he's been left on an island. Hackis is trying to escape here, and Unlucky has been finished. So Alliance are going to have to reset here.
Man, early battle once again. Whether it's scrims, whether it's week one of the match days, these two teams keep finding one another. And I'm not going to lie, we don't hate that they're on the same side of the map. Here they go again.
Oh, Aku versus Effects. It's going to be Aku who switches to that Hemlock and manages to take down the man who previously held that seat. A fantastic spray from him, and that might give him a good opportunity to actually get out of this situation and escape. Effect is back to his feet, as are the rest of Aurora. So it might just be time bought by that spray coming in from Aku for Alliance to escape and get back into this game.
Yeah, we'll see how much they pressure this or how much they instead just kind of try to hold Heights North and slowly make their way in from this Prio build that they clearly want to hold. And now we get to see the Hackis POV as they look to try to reset.
Yeah, it looks like Hackis is out. It looks like Aku's out as well. They should be pretty safe on their escape here and should be able to at least think about getting their teammate Unlucky back into this game. But that's a little confidence booster, right? Those little fights, you see Effect over the top of a player that you're fighting, you know you're going to have to hit good shots. And Aku did exactly that.
It's also worth mentioning Aurora no Maggie all last week. With the week they had no Maggie at all, they come into game number 1 in a lobby that essentially has almost no Maggie. With that Maggie, they are proving once again the role flexibility. They are ready to counter the lobby. They're ready to bring in new things and play the game at their pace, and they're doing it once again with that early win. Of course, not a full wipe, but an early win against Alliance.
DSK then, playing the middle ground of Electro Dam. I'm going to see where that zone is going to pull pretty soon as well. Some late consoles. Just looking at who's probably playing for those later consoles. Alliance will be able to hit it on the reset. They have gotten lucky back in. We did see that. This underbridge position, like I mentioned, is good late. But if you go early, it's a risk. And Henchman has gone down here for Bandits. So he's going to be finished off. And now we're back to a situation that we saw in a previous match day where Light and Kinda are going to have to try and survive. And last time Light was here, Andy, I think he got into the top 5 position, even though it looked like the game was going to be over very quickly for them.
I was going to say, we're getting a lot of deja vu here. This is the second time we've seen Bandits play very similar low ground here. As you alluded to, they had 2 different results, as they will be in even more trouble here and just trying to make something happen with the Moby, but I'm not sure if they're going to be able to make it happen.
Well, Beamsy is looking in on this, and Kinda is just trying to dodge through a couple of void passages. Unfortunately, on the other side of that, there's 2 players. He's trying to buy time, he's trying to exist, and I tell you what, by jumping into the drone, I was going to say he might be able to for a few extra seconds, but he gets sniffed out. Bandits are eliminated. That's our second team out of the lobby, and it's a good indication of what we were talking about. The low ground late, pretty good. Early,
Very difficult to hold, and that's an earlier exit than Bandits would have wanted, especially because, let's not forget, they had such a great week 1, but they will be exiting this game early. And look at the pull that we have here. Once again, in terms of playable areas here, it goes essentially right back to the same exact zone as match day 1. So here we go into the end game.
Alliance back into the fight. And stay healthy here in front of them. They've got to be very careful, though, because they're in a little bit of a pinch at the moment, Alliance. I'm not sure if they're aware. Hackis on the drone, though, will be able to spot out the potential wrap coming in from the Vicious. But no, he doesn't see it. And Hackis is down. He pops out of the drone, does not spot that team behind him. And that's going to be Alliance in a little bit of a shambles here once again.
Tough game for them. Like you said, the Vicious coming up from the south. They certainly were just focused on what was ahead of them in this upcoming battle. As you said, stay healthy, but now they have to watch both sides yet again.
Aku just trying to survive. Unlucky. He's had a little bit of a rough game so far. He spent most of the time either popping batteries or being in the death screen. Kinda versus Aku. Aku will go down. Kinda survives. Unlucky now going to hit the Nexus to try and get out of there, but you get the feeling that Alliance, this is one of those kind of games where if they can survive, maybe they could do something special towards the end game, but time is certainly starting to hurt them here. Unlucky does a good job to get out and stay alive, though.
Yeah, what a story it would be. Just trying to, I mean, when you're trying to hit Qs into Galleria like that this late in the game, there's of course going to be a team there as we take a look elsewhere at Aurora, just causing more havoc. Effect, though, has to slow down and reset. They've already lost OJ and Effect down as well.
Yeah, it's look a little bit rough. Tough to rotate him from this side of the zone as well. It's kind of, you can see the high ground of Electrodam overlooking everyone who's moving in. The good thing is, the last player alive is Hiaka on the Crypto, so he's going to be able to grab the banners without really having to overextend here. But where do you go from here? If you hurt Hiaka, it's a very, very difficult situation to get out of. Look at the teams that are surrounding him.
Yeah, especially like you talk about as the pressure from Pot. Look at them, as you said, that height from that side of EDAM. So even if you were to win this fight, so difficult to even try to push up on that side.
I think he's probably just searching to see if there's somebody with a Moby about as well. If someone's just popped one down there, he can use this drone to get these teammates back in. Instead, he's going to go to the zone and ask Effect and OJ to take a little bit of sunburn on their way back to him. Alliance have been eliminated in the meantime. It's a rough game one for them. 15 squads remain, but Hyaka has pulled off a miracle here.
Yeah, you talk about the heavy hitters falling early, but as you said, it's a miracle for Aurora. This is not an easy place to fight out of, especially when you have multiple teams looking over you, but somehow they get everyone back in the game. Made in Heaven and HM eliminated on this pass, however.
Yeah, that fight did not look good for either team. Both teams just being overlooked by teams inside of the zone who finish off a little bit of that damage. And it looks like Babylon's is going to be queuing through here for 3 men to try and take advantage of some good damage that's been done. Effect is down, OJ's down again, and Hyaka is last standing for Aurora, not for the first time in this game.
Yeah, certainly not. As we take a look at the move that they're going to try to make Pot, and finally Pot, as we said, this is the place you got to be so careful because, and also now damage coming in from up top yet again, but you got to be careful because that building specifically that you just saw Taskmaster in, it's so easy to hold that building, and the second you want to pounce on the back of that building, you do so. They take advantage of them. That will be Pot taking down Aurora. That's our 2 lobby leaders eliminating one another. Pot will be the only one standing for the rest of match number 1.
Yeah, Void Nexus down in that building as well for Pot. So even by overextending there, they always had an exit strategy should things get a little bit hairier than expected. Make EU great again, though, on your screens right now. They've got a very, very tough rotate. They have Galleria in front of them. They have the zone closing behind them. And they have a lot of teams who are going to be focusing their reticles onto every legend who pops through these walls.
Like you said, that's not an easy queue, but their only saving grace is the fact that every team ahead of them also wants to be flying in as fast as they can with the zone at their back. So they're just going to mirror that and hope that they get away with some more distance to cover. And so far, they're doing just that.
Yeah, doing a pretty good job of it as well. You can see a couple of queues working well for them. NOVO Esports at Galleria taking a fight themselves. Adam's going to jump through the Void Passage and try and be a little bit of a nuisance. Good spray as well. There's going to be another Void Passage down. NOVO Esports will be eliminated, though. Mamma Mia trying to move in to look at the final pieces of this. But it's going to be the Havoc Legends who actually survive as a 3 momentarily here, who kind of win the fight of Galleria, but now they're going to be held out by Mamma Mia.
Oh, Mamma Mia does so well there to be just the last team, the furthest team out outside of Galleria. As we said, it was always going to crunch. When you have a zone like this, it's always going to come down to those Galleria chokes trying to move into canals and bridge. But Mamma Mia now also just down to a 1 here in Ekio.
Yeah, just hoping that Ekio can get his teammates to just crawl back to him, maybe look for a reset, destroys the drone. But Beamsy and Co are looking at this to try and see if they can finish this off before the res comes in. Stay Healthy just been eliminated in the meantime as half of the lobby has now been eliminated down to 8 as Mamma Mia will fall as well. The overextension into Galleria just took a little bit too much damage in that fight against Havoc Legends, and it made it very, very simple for the finish to come in. Make EU great again also eliminated. The rotation not quite as successful as they would have wanted.
Yeah, just anyone trying to come out of that Galleria side, it just was not meant to be. FUL, by the way, were really nice. Even though it's textbook, the 2-man swing, they don't risk anything there and they get the kill.
DSK with some really good nades, by the way. Phoenix and Swinny going to be down on that high ground. Awakened really struggling just in and around that staircase and on the little slopes. G-Dolph has gone down though. Potassium just been eliminated in the meantime. As we start to see the lobby kind of just settle down for a second here, Andy. All of the late rotators into zone have been dealt with.
Yeah, those big moves really have crunched, as we said, everyone from each side, whether it was the Aurora Alliance crunch that was coming in from that top northern side or the Galleria southern side. Things slow down. We're into our final 6 squads here.
3 men looking for some KP. As Awakened will finally fall. The last player down is going to be Swinny. The lobby leaders
Look at Pot
from
again.
previous weeks are going to be Pot now on your screen. They're moving up to the cannon now, and they're trying to clear out this northern side.
Yeah, going to be very... Look at all the cover that the cannon offers. Also, just kills continuing to come in as well, as they're going to get that knock on Calibri and even get the Finn. Love how they're going to do that. Look at Prestis just owning the space on the altar. Beautifully done here. Now 5 squads left.
Yeah, he's going to have a lot of fun here as well with the double tap scout, but he's got to be careful that he doesn't get angled out himself. They forced the last members of DSK to rotate away from them, which means they now completely control this northern side. But Taskmaster has fallen. He's in a very vulnerable position, but the Void Nexus is down, and they're going to manage to pull him back through before that zone closes.
Yeah, they lose Taskmaster to 3 men. DSK eliminated in the feed, by the way, but looks like the Crypto just gets clipped off guard. But as you said, they're going to be able to pull and reset here.
Of course, the Gold goes down on that low ground from 3 men. Not going to do a lot of damage, though. They're just trying to clean out this area below the bridge and not really getting much usage and effectiveness from that caustic hole. That could be something that could come back to bite them in this endgame.
It certainly could, and they're going to use the altar going down. They got to be careful as well because other teams will be able to use that altar in game 1 coming up. They just get away in time. They will try to hold height here.
Also going to talk about the fact that Sentinel Havoc is the loadout, which is something we don't see that often, but it's certainly working for 3 men here, and Pop got to be very, very careful because Alternator Vault is another thing I did not have on my bingo card. Pixel Lumina have been eliminated. We're down to 3 here, and Pot are in trouble.
Oh, they are in trouble indeed. They're just hugging against. Look, Babylon should be able to maybe play around these knocks if he can get the damage, but he's getting clipped elsewhere, so he cannot finish just yet.
FUL just trying to take down this final remaining member, but they're not going to have to because 3 men have done the job, and now it is a shootout. It is a 3 versus 3. It's FUL versus 3 men as the altar Q comes in. Beamsy left with Orbit to try and clutch this.
Yeah, going to try to make something happen, but I'm not sure if he's got the space that he needs, especially, as you say, to have one knock. This is going to be a tough play for them in the 2v3.
Kurike on his back. That's the caustic. No barrels to play around down on that low ground. You're expecting to see an auto queue up very soon as well. Instead, it's going to be an evac to distract, and then 3 men are going to fly up through that altar port to try and finish off this fight. Babylon's playing this one very carefully and very, very low risk at this point. Maybe just didn't have the ammo in the alternator. Had to do a little bit of extra loot in there to make sure that he had some bullets in the gun to do the damage that's required.
Ooh, a little bit of a different cue. They're going to have to walk around here to try to get this. They should be able to isolate these fights. Just 1 more left for them. Beamsy going to be the last player alive. He's standing to Mucci. He'll close it out with the Havoc Sentinel as the loadout, and 3 men will be the champions here on E-District to be a game number 1. And like you said, just playing that slow and cautious, making sure, hey, hit every altar queue. Let's reset, let's heal again, and let's go ahead and push the 3v2. They're going to be happy with that. They play the height in a conservative way, but efficient way, especially after placing 15th in match day number 1. It's a big win for 3 men in game number 1.
Yeah, certainly very impressive. And like you say, just a little bit of kind of good focus in that last game, not letting the adrenaline get the better of you in those final moments, just going down the auto queue, making sure you're healthy, coming back up again, knowing you've done the damage with that first knock. Simple things like that, not throwing games away and opportunities away that come your way. Such an important thing for a consistent match day.
Yeah, it really is. And also, I think one thing I got to highlight of all the games that we've been watching in scrim games, match day games, even back to champs, that tells you the speed at which teams wanted to get to that end game because of the variety of loadouts we saw, right? Generally, you're seeing a lot of Hemlock R9. Instead, we were seeing, like you said, Sentinel Havoc loadouts coming into the end game.
I was seeing a Vault doing more damage. Probably that Vault spray that we saw come in has done more damage than the first 2 match days combined for the Vaults. I think it's very impressive stuff to see that being put into use as well. These are your match 1 results. You can see FUL at the top of the leaderboards, and then at the bottom end, Eclipse not having a good start. We did see Kashira unfortunately barely getting to land before he was taken down by a very, very aggressive Aurora. But interesting to look at the bottom of those leaderboards there. Some of the big hitters not having the biggest of games in that first game, but Pot certainly did have a very good game with some good KP alongside what they did in that game, Andy.
Yeah, certainly. And how about the game 1 ban? It's going to be Alter. So a 5-game ban difference, unsurprisingly. Now, as you guys said, it's a lot of that, of course, is ED. I think a lot of people were anticipating it, but hey, we're back to normal. It's an Alter ban game 1. Everyone can take a breath and relax.
To be fair, it had to go to a tiebreaker between Alter and Crypto, 20 picks apiece. So, like we mentioned at the top of the show, had one less team not gone with Alter, I mean, she would still have made it through. And then at that point, who knows for how long? Probably only match 2, but you never know. Either way, really, really strong way to kind of kick off the day. I mean, a nice performance there. We still saw Pot up at the top with 9 KP as well, even though they weren't able to close that win out. A little bit of consistency out of Pot there, so not mad about that, but still big game for 3 men and FUL closing that out. Now, this is a little bit different than what we typically do. Okay, I know we're only post match 1, but we're going to be bringing in a guest real quick because it's only 1 game in. But Jumbo, you've got stuff to say.
Jumbo!
Talk to me. Talk to me. Jumbo, welcome to the show. obviously the legend that you are, you have some thoughts on comps, and we've been talking about them all day.
Yeah, what's going on, everyone? Especially what's up, Brav? Welcome back.
Hey,
but
thank you, man.
Totally. Yeah, I was coming in to talk about specifically these crypto comps, which I think game one showed there was 16 teams running the crypto alter caustic, but 100% of them had that alter crypto. So I know you guys went through baby comp there, but I was wanting to bring that up because like these aggro comps, I think, are what are really taking over the scene right now. Every region except for Americas, I believe, has had crypto banned at least once in for the first game of their set. So I don't know, like, what do you guys think about that? It's pretty crazy.
It's fun. I'm going to say that. It's fun. I think, like, I always feel like there's something that people settle on that works for them. And then you start that kind of revolving door of the counter comp. What's going to give us the best opportunity to see, points on the board? And I think everybody looked at the Gibraltar buff and everyone was like, oh, okay, Gibraltar buff. This is very, very strong. Oh, we don't even have to run console now because we can Valkyrie in. And then everyone was like, I hate this. I'm going to run Maggie Crypto Alter and I'm going to nuke them all. And it's just been very fun to watch that kind of progression already, only 2 match days in.
Yeah, it's literally been that. Like, not only does Crypto's kit provide so much value, like absurd value for comp Apex, the specific counter against the baby comp, the Newcastle Crypto, what it can do there, the Newcastle TB, and what it can do there in disabling all their abilities, and you combo it with a Alter, a Wraith, a Maggie, where if, for example, like a Gibby Bubble stays up, you just destroy it with Maggie Ball, the teams have no abilities to fight back. So that's why we're seeing it. And I mean, Alter got banned first game now, so we're going to see this crypto come out again next game.
Yeah, absolutely, Jumbo. I want to know your thoughts too. I feel like there's a really interesting dynamic where this is not necessarily, even though, don't get me wrong, a crypto alter timing push is kind of understandable on paper, but like where your crypto sits, how far they are from the action, the vision that they have in a fight. If your team's destroying drone versus if they're counter EMPing, there's like a lot of dynamic and nuance into how well your crypto plays these situations. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that too.
Yeah, Crypto, I've always said, is a character that just takes, he's not a difficult character, but he takes a different way of thinking in Apex, right? So, Hackus, for example, who once upon a time had to like always jump into the fight, be the one leading for his team. Once he got unlucky in effect last year, he would take a step back and he would be the Crypto for them because he'd send his 2 dogs in to go fight. And that's what a lot of like these Crypto IGLs now have to do. They have to find that way to take that step back, play the game a different way, and let their guys go fight. So it's a different dynamic, and it makes it really complex, but it's also a real unique and interesting way to watch the game after.
I mean, the vibe that I'm getting here, Jumba, is that you are a fan of these aggro comps. You want all of this chaos. We don't want any sort of like Valk ulting into zone, holding out space within your bubble, waiting for somebody to do something first. You want the chaos.
I'm a fan of the aggro comps, always have been. People will know, if you really know me, I'm a kind of notorious crypto hater, though. I think he just makes it a little bit too easy sometimes on IGLs.
You've never mentioned it once in a great
Never haven't.
Well, unfortunately for you, we've got at least one more match with Crypto, and I can't even make any promises about what's going to happen in the Americas. So you are just in for a day of maybe your least favorite legend. However, it's working for these teams, and we get to continue to see just how well it's going to work in this next match. Jumba, I'm going to leave you with the boys for now so we can get into match number 2 action.
I've got a question for you, Jumbo.
Yeah, let's
as we head into match number 2. Have you ever felt safer in your life than knowing that you're sat electronically between me and Andy right now?
When they told me I got on set, that was one thing. But when they said Bravo, I was like, Bravo! I've been watching a bunch of year 1 clips for things I was working on, so I feel like I was just seeing Bravo clips last week, and then I was like, I get him in year 6, his first day. That's awesome. So no, I've never been safer between you guys.
Okay, so that was the correct answer. Otherwise, it could have been problems. Put it that way.
You know what I thought you were going to say, Mark? I thought you were going to say, have you ever felt safer, Jumba, after a crypto ban? Because I think that's also feels pretty safe too.
Well, as we head into match number 2 here, it's going to be interesting to get the thoughts of both yourself, Andy, and Jumba on what we're going to see, because Crypto's made it through. Crypto has potentially going to give an opportunity for Jumba to list off his top 5 favorite things about Crypto, which I'm looking forward to in this match number 2. But what did you make of match number 1, Jumba, before we head into match number 2 here?
Oh, it was pretty, full. I saw what position they took in those buildings down low. I think a lot of teams in an EDAM zone love to go for that height right away. But if you take the gamble on those building to the bottom, like the kind of 3-story, they could be hugely valuable for that bridge endgame. So it was no surprise to me that they got second with a lot of KP. I was really excited to see that out of them.
Well, let's see what 3 men do on their loot path here. I'm also keeping my eye on the kill feed because we did see Aurora pushing immediately and taking Kashera down. It looks like maybe just a little bit of a truce, or maybe just a, shall we say, a concession of space here, Andy. And it looks like Aurora probably did look for it, but this time they're not going to be granted with that kill.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look at the VODs just because the big question is, did Aurora see it on the, if you ask me, did Aurora see it as they were kind of coming out of the dropship? Or, actually, I'm going to interrupt that thought. Mark,
how do you guys feel about an EDAM zone?
We have had, I would say, in all the time that I've been watching this game, duplicate zones is the best way to put match day 1 and 2. And we are headed back to Electrodam.
Jumbo, how do you feel about Electrodam zones?
Dude, and look, Full's running exactly to those buildings again that I was just talking about there. But
Yeah.
I've heard some analysts say when you see one zone go in the same that direction, there's a good chance it might pull in the same direction, the same side. I don't know if it's just a coincidence all the time, but I looked into it myself and I believed it. So maybe the teams are expecting this.
I love the idea of the IGLs just seeing this zone pop and going, all right, guys, same again. And that's pretty much
Literally,
it. Unless
that would
they
be it, yeah.
got eliminated in 20th and maybe not same again. But it does mean potentially we're going to see Alliance and Aurora run into each other once again. Or maybe Alliance are going to change up their game plan because that game number 1, Andy, a rough one for them. Lots of resets and not a lot of success.
Yeah, tough to watch, and it would be tough in the comms. Like you said, so much time spent just trying to figure out how on earth are we going to get out of this situation. We either had a teammate knocked or 1 or 2 thirsted. So like you said, it was just a game of survival for Alliance, not a game they would have enjoyed, and not far behind them would have been Aurora, who would have just hit Survey Beacon at Settlement. They're going to make their way into Vibe Isle as well, so that battle is going to develop once again. Unsurprisingly, it's the same loot paths, it's the same pathing, and we're going to keep an eye on that. But now back to EDAM here, just on the western side.
And Jumbo, I just want to get your thoughts on this. Of course, we're seeing the exact same zone here, but one of the great things about Apex Legends is the fact that even though the zone is looking almost identical to what we saw in game number 1, the fact that Evo placement is different, the fact that ring consoles and survey beacons are spawning at different spots, it does change the pathing for a lot of these teams and does change the game plan for some of them as well.
Oh, absolutely. Like, Apex is all about mitigating RNG, but RNG is still there. So there's going to be a few things that factor different. Also, too, with the bans now, they don't have Alter, who we know is like, District is her playground. So they're going to have to play their rotations differently as well, and the engagement. So there will be likely a different ending to this game. But, like, you know what? Who knows? Maybe we'll get the exact same thing. I never know.
That's a wonderful thing. I think the end of that sentence is the great thing about this video game, right? And competitive Apex, you never really know. And I think for FUL, they know that they want to play that building. That's one thing that we can concede. And Unlucky knows that he's out for blood because he nearly just one-clipped someone off an evac tower, showing that even with the recent adjustments to the recoil on the Hemlock, he is not feeling it.
That's the exact point I was going to make, Mark. Just regardless of a little bit of recoil changes to the Hemlock, not a problem for him. However, a problem for Make EU Great Again. Kiner just going to try to catwall to survive as the last alive.
Yeah, they tried to make a much quicker rotation this time. Same kind of result though, unfortunately. This is the spot, not good. It's going to be them getting ripped down, a combination of players really and teams really contributing to their fall in game number 1. So our first team is out of the lobby. That's going to be your Red Bull first strike as they will fall. And Potassium now on your screen playing the kind of mirror of the building that FUL are playing on that other side.
They also want to make another point, just that Lauren pointed out. The fact that Alter went, by the way, Alter and Crypto went to 3rd tiebreaker. This was not first tiebreaker. This was not 2nd tiebreaker. This was 3rd tiebreaker between the two, and Alter had the higher kills, so it will be Alter that gets banned. I just want to highlight, that happened last week as well. It was actually an Alter tie game 1, and then she lasted till game 5. So that just shows you, and I think it's such a good point about what Jumbo's talking about. Everything's on a razor edge when you talk about the bans and which legend might get banned and how it will change the trajectory of the entire lobby.
And Jumbo, I want to get your thoughts on who you're adding to a composition. Who do you like to see? Because we're seeing quite a bit of Wraith actually early on here from a few teams, which is an interesting pick for me. Of course, it gives you that rotational kind of ability that Alter does as well. Do you think it's a like for like for the teams who are just jumping into Wraith as their pick now?
Yeah, I think it's that, especially if they're going to be using the Caustics instead of the Catalyst, because Catalyst can provide some of that rotation ability. You're just going to want the Wraith for the portal to cross gaps and everything. I'm surprised we don't ever see Valkyries as often, because she does give that flying ability as well. But I think we won't see Maggie yet until we start seeing some of the Gibby Newcastle comps. So Wraith was definitely the one I expected to be next when Alter was banned.
Yeah, very, very interesting to see how Aku performs, of course. This man knows how to play Wraith better than most. Alliance definitely taking a different path to what they did last time, Andy. This time they have gone Galleria side. The UAV is there for them. And speaking of UAV are also here. The team, not just the survey beacons. So they've got to be very careful.
I was going to say, it's a very different route. It's a great point because right now, about this time, they would be facing off against Aurora around Heights and the edge of EDAM. So it's a really great timing that you point that out. They do have a lot of company, but let's actually get over here to the canals just below draft to see what's going on with the Vicious.
The Vicious are actually going to run Newcastle. The first time we're going to see him in the lobby. But he's going to be on that Legend in particular. And with this zone, could be a very good pick for arriving late. They also have the Valkyrie. So when you are seeing that repeat zone, being able to Valkyrie into that lower bridge area, but this time having the castle wall could be something that brings them some success. They're also find a couple of KP on edge of zone here, as you see them taking down one player. Then inside of this building is the last one remaining player, Feuda of HM. The other player has escaped all the way to Viaduct and will be able to reset here. Jumba, it's been great to get your thoughts on crypto. Anything else you want to say before we let you go?
Just thanks for having me on, guys. It's always a blast.
Hell yeah, we love having you, Jumba, and thank you for your thoughts. And for the Vicious, Andy, they've done the job here. 2 players dead. The last player, like I mentioned, from HM has survived, though, and is all the way deep in zone. And it's going to be No who's going to be deep in zone, and he's going to be able to look for a reset.
Yeah, No going to look for a big reset for the team. But to be honest, though, as we talked about, this is not unfamiliar territory for HM. They love to play wide rotates, oftentimes in zone. I expect to see them reset and get back into the action. But yeah, couldn't agree more. Amazing to have Jumba on the show. Looking forward to having him, of course, a lot more this split as well.
Well, the zone is identical by the looks of things. However, HM are coming under a little bit of pressure for this triple-story building. So everybody recognizing their success they had in that previous game from this point. And this time they're getting assaulted a little bit here. Shaco has gone down due to that breach charge from the Hemlock. So it seems like people are approaching this game a little bit differently here, Andy.
Definitely, and take a look here also at UAV just around the corner. You talked about how Alliance was going up against UAV at Galleria. Alliance has so far not only won that battle and gate kept them, they have the knocks as well.
They certainly do. This is going to be a much more confidence-building game for Alliance. Of course, only one squad eliminated, but just getting some good damage, finding a few KP, and making themselves feel comfortable in this lobby. There's going to be a secret to their success. The drone will be eliminated. UAV have also been eliminated as well. So that's going to give Alliance a little bit of information that Galleria is going to be a bit more clear. And it looks like they're moving back through here, either to look for a survey beacon potentially, or potentially for a ring console, which is also available to them.
Yeah, they now own it exclusively, but I got a note. Stay Healthy is actually at the southeastern choke. Made in Heaven is still at the canal choke. So even though Alliance has breathing room right now, the battle of the Galleria chokes is not quite over yet. They'll need to play this carefully.
Aki watching his back here. It looks like a couple of pings have gone in. It looks like Hackis is going to have that drone in the sky and be able to get the information required so that they don't find themselves in a little bit of a pinch and getting caught off guard like they were in the previous game. Back over to our zone, though, and back over to FUL. They still control this building. They did hold off the pressure, Andy.
One of the most interesting things, by the way, take a look in the back. It's Bandits actually playing the tunnel. So this building is not as safe as it would normally be if the back of the tunnel and your back was already cleared. That's going to be a big battle that develops as well. FUL versus Bandits on that choke.
Yeah, Bandit's going to have to move in, not for this zone, but for the next one, as the lobby kind of quietens down for a few seconds. A couple of EMPs are going to be going off, probably just for a little bit of extra Evo, as nobody's going to really be able to close the gaps that are quite significant in the height differences here at the top of EDAM. Pixel Lumina, who went out a little bit earlier in that previous game, they've got a really good spot to play from here, Andy.
Yeah, they're coming in with a Lotus drop, by the way, 19th in their first week, so they're going to look to improve upon that. By the way, also didn't want to mention HM does get Feuda and Zod back in the game, so we will see them making, as we thought, a big wide rotate from Neon, but they're quite far away from the action. So as you say, Pixel Lumina going to be very happy with their current spot on EDAM.
For now, just a little bit of quiet, which is something we don't usually get in Apex Legends, as everybody is healthy, everybody is safe, and nobody is really close enough to engage in a meaningful way. Galleria, like you say, is owned by Alliance at the moment. They now have NOVO Esports moving in as teams who are moving through.
Yeah, Novo, by the way, actually nice. No. Comes in there as well. Now that Novo's getting pushed, by the way, by Stay Healthy. That's why Novo pushed into Galleria so hard. This is not an int. They're actually getting pushed from the back.
Yeah, this is them getting pinched right now, and Slab is going to be finished off by Aku. Great shots coming in from a combination of Unlucky and Aku. And it looks like the chemistry is starting to work. Speaking of which, we have the opportunity to jump into a listen-in with Alliance and see what the comms are like.
Keep looking, keep looking. I got him away.
Okay. Bro, fuck.
I got him.
No, I'm not. Okay. Are you good?
Yes, yeah, keep looking, keep looking, keep looking.
Okay. Cast your HP, get out. Crypto's going for banner right now.
Yeah.
I think Crypto's still here somewhere. Aku.
Yeah. I'm scouting for him, I'm scouting for him.
That's a new teammate. New teammate choke, Aku.
Okay,
new teammate choke, come back.
Run back. I'm going far low ground. Running back.
Yep.
One guy ran away, I think. One guy ran away.
I got new team call.
Yeah, okay, this in the right choke or left choke?
The right choke. This one.
Okay.
This one got new team call.
Yeah, there's a Kasi run away.
Yep.
Just keep gatekeeping. We're gonna solo on knock shit. Yeah, I need to loot.
Yeah, okay.
I got nothing.
Maybe just look around. I'll take the lab mag.
Drop in later here.
I have infinite ammo, by the way.
Got it for now.
Well, it's a little bit hectic, but you can see that the intensity is certainly there, Andy. We have lost a couple of teams in the meantime, and you mentioned that HM Bandits concern. Well, Bandits took the building off of them during that listening, so inside of zone, it's going to be Bandits who have taken that triple-story building. Alliance still on our screen there. What did you make of that listening?
Yeah, I like the listening. It sounded intense, but to be honest, when you're watching multiple Galleria chokes and there's 3 drones plus your own in the air, it requires that kind of panic, right? You're talking about left choke, right choke, where's the drone? Can we destroy the drone? So I actually thought overall, given the game circumstance, I liked what I heard from Alliance, and as you can see, they've navigated it quite well.
Yeah, done a pretty good job. They are holding the zone at the moment. You heard I think the most important comm from Hackis is we're gatekeeping. We are stopping anybody moving through here, and Stay Healthy are going to find that out themselves. The EMP connects, and now you send in the dogs. The Caustic ult is primed and ready, and that is not a good place to be inside of this shop. If a Caustic ult is coming your way, Awaken eliminated in the meantime, the counter EMP comes in, and Unlucky will fall. So Alliance, who looks like they had the advantage in this fight, now have to clutch.
Yeah, what looked like it should have been pretty straightforward has been anything but here. It will be a thirst coming in for Aku as he tries to allow time for Hawkes to reset. Hawkes will get the bad off here, though, so now in this 2v2, we'll see how they play this.
Going to be able to get the res onto Unlucky as well. So while Aku holds, the other 2 members of Alliance are going to get healthy. Aku is relentless in holding this angle. Breaches through, takes those caustic barrels down, but now you're seeing the difficulty in pushing a caustic. You know you're going to take damage, and it's about hitting good damage before you fly in.
Yeah, just damage trades back and forth on both sides. Breach charge coming out for Hackis. He's going to try to wing. He tries to swing. He gets the first knock. That should pave the way for the team to come through. It's a beautiful wipe, beautifully timed. Even though they lose a player early, they have to reset fully with a res and a bat. They come in, they swing, and like you said, it's Hakus who's not afraid to swing first. It's a great wipe against Stay Wealthy.
Yeah, Made in Heaven tried to have I mean, they won't feel so wealthy after that one, but Stay Healthy also won't feel too healthy after that one. Alliance doing a great job. I loved that POV, though, that we saw from Hackis. He's like, okay, this is great and everything, but there's only 2 of them, boys. Let's fly in. Let's do this. Let's get this done, because the zone is going to be closing behind us. By the way, Made in Heaven did have a little look to see if they could third party, but didn't feel comfortable enough with the zone closing and with Alliance healthy enough down on that low ground to extend to look to take that fight. Alliance now will take to the skies. Double evac, and this time, it's going to look a lot better.
We've seen a few double evacs recently. We'll get to those later in the America show, but Alliance making their flight now. Finally, from EDEM, they have fought wars in Galleria. They have earned their spot now as they will fly into the end zone here at EDEM.
And they managed to avoid the EMP as well. Aku's going to have a little poke and a prod, but look at the nades coming down. Somehow they don't connect, and Aku doing his best Houdini impression at the moment. Unlucky's going to take some damage, though. Has to take his time in this fight, but the damage coming in elsewhere. Aku now gets that first knock, and that is going to allow his teammates just to calm down here. This is DSK getting pinched, and Alliance looking for the kills, but Bandits, they're now overextending to see if they can pinch Alliance.
Yeah, you can tell Aku wanted to push that, but DSK is holding just enough where it made that risky. Also, let's not forget, all of EDAM height was essentially had LOS at Aku, so he does a really nice job just to queue out, realize, let's not get greedy. We've won a lot of battles here. Let's play this game slowly.
On the other side of the zone, though, you can see 3 men, they've just been eliminated. There's about 5 or 6 teams all trying to control and walk in from this side, and you get the feeling that only 1 or 2 will be able to survive that. Pot have just been eliminated as well, so that's a little bit of an earlier exit than expected for them. As we almost have half the lobby left now. 11 squads remaining. Synetic's in a swing here and should finish this one off. Potassium also fall, but the armor swap does not come in, and Synetic will fall.
I tell you what, that height, of course, is very different now that you have no altar in this lobby. You know, you still really want to play it late. As you just saw from Synetic's POV, playing that bridge this early is really going to open you up to a lot of sight lines. He gets punished for that, but that bridge will be very valuable late game once again. Here, actually, we're going to see what this team here, Havoc Legends, is under fire from Bandits on this height.
Yeah, Light is just blasting them at the moment. It is a combination of breach charges and hemlock sprays that are doing so much damage. And this is Bandits using that Wraith portal to overextend from the triple story that they took off of HM a little bit earlier. And now we're going to see the war of this northern side. And it looks like Alliance are coming out on top of it. They swing. DSK have been eliminated. Aku gets a couple of kills. And Alliance look like they're waking up here.
Tell you what, it's patience once again. I cannot wait to go back in the VOD and hear the timing on that call coming in from Hawkes, because once again, that's what you need to see from this team. Even though they are so talented mechanically and they can just fly at teams, they take their time, they reset, they wait for their correct window, and they get a really clean wipe against DSK. They will now occupy that space.
And they also just found themselves with some new neighbors, and they are called Aurora. So we might see that fight go down in a little bit of time. On this southern side, though, NOVO Esports trying to move out from under this bridge. They are safe in this corner. Eclipse have fallen in the meantime as we find ourselves in the top 6. Slab looking to try and find some targets, but no scope on that Hemlock, having been recently respawned, is a little bit of an ugly sight at this point in the game.
Yeah, Eclipse will go down to the feet as well. However, they'll be very happy. Slab, though, going to try to live through this gas. Not going to happen. Can't even get the Q off. That'll be it. NOVO Esports eliminated on the edge. The gas too much on the timing, and they will go down.
Alliance going to have a little swing through zone here to see if they can put pressure onto this fight. Aku's going to find one, but he goes down to the zone. Mistimes that swing. And it's going to be up to Unlucky and the Hackers to get him back on his feet for now. Unlucky gets a couple of barrels down. Got to get himself healthy before he thinks about popping this res. And now with the Maggie drill ripping through, the riot drill is causing all sorts of problems. But the knockdown is going to be good enough for him to pop a Barry and the medkit. He times it just well enough. But look at Alliance. They are holding on by a shoe thread.
Yeah, just finds the exact safe space he needed, from the drill to be able to, as you say, heal and then get the reset. So even though it looked like it was going to be dire, they do reset Aku, like you said, on the swing. Just takes like truly 1 to 5 HP extra from the zone, and that is what knocks him. However, they will reset. Aurora and Alliance both still in this late game, and it's actually the Vicious holding maximum height right now.
Yeah, and we saw them very, very early on, right down by draft point, taking fights, and now they've got themselves up onto this high ground. Thank you, Valkyrie, for that, to being able to overtake all of this traffic later and land on this height. And they're quite safe for quite a long time here with where this zone is going to be pulling. So there's an opportunity for good KP here should they get those reticles locked onto the players and teams below.
Yeah, they lay down a casual breach charge here, a drill there. You know, let's not forget, they can wall with this. They're going to be able to wall wherever they want to in this late game, whereas they're going to be surrounded by teams that are fighting for scraps in terms of space.
Looks like Alliance have decided to wall with the Newcastle on the staircase. So good luck pushing this one. If you've got caustic barrels down and you've got a wall here, Alliance now find themselves in a safe spot. Made in Heaven and Bandits closest to each other. Aurora bang center zone, by the way, as Alliance and the Vicious are stacked up on top of each other.
Gotta wonder from Alliance's perspective, what's the going rate on a used castle wall? They are able to find some spaces. They're able to, I guess, navigate some kind of good deal, but actually, it's actually going to be Oiran that goes down for Aurora, so they need to be careful here.
Yeah, the problem for Aurora is they have the safest spot for the longest when it comes to the zone closing, but they have a lot of teams surrounding them right now. Bandits taking a little bit of damage, and maybe the zone closing behind is going to be a problem because everyone's taking health damage. Henchmen and kind of go down to Unlucky's caustic gas. Beautiful play again from Unlucky, who has been superb so far in this game.
Tyler pokes up for just a second as well. Aku's trying to wrap the corner, should be able to do it on Light. He does it cleanly, however, losing teammates elsewhere. It's just Aku against Chaotic, can't do it. Alliance will go down at the hands of the Vicious.
Yeah, the Vicious take them down, and now it's going to be the Vicious trying to move in to take on Made in Heaven. This is opening the door, though, surely, for Aurora, who are quiet, but now make some noise in this endgame. Oiran, in effect, the last two alive, and Aurora will be your champions of game number 2 here on E District. They kept their heads down, Andy, but they picked their moment perfectly.
That's sometimes what does it the best, especially on a zone like E-Dam, where you think about the concrete actual angles of the dam around the waterfall. If you're just playing on the other side of one of those, like you said, even though Tyler's able to get, I think it was a T-take knock against Oirain, even though they take that knock, they can reset. There's a huge wall there where they have so much cover and they're able to reset. And like you said, time the third party. Everyone else is suffering to gas, and anyone who's not is in a queue and not fighting. So it just gave the timing for Aurora to push in and get the win.
Yeah, some of the big boys putting up big points in that game. We'll take a look at the leaderboards here. It's Aurora, first place, 8 KP, alongside, of course, the #1 spot in the placements. The Vicious in behind them, 11 KP for them, and 11 KP for Aurora, for Alliance as well. That is a top-heavy, points-looking lobby. A lot of the teams at the top of the leaderboards picking up the KP as well.
Yeah, the Vicious, by the way, MG, Clutch, Chaotic, and CJ going to be very happy. They placed 17th in match day 1, so to be able to come here with a second like that is really impressive. Here's a look at the bottom of the table as well.
Yeah, make EU great again, not looking great in game number 2. As we take a look back at sort of the middle ground here as well. Havoc Legends with a couple of KP and some decent placement points. Bandits as well took that spot off of, I can't remember who it was. Who was it in that building for the
Bandits
start?
and FUL, I believe, was the battle.
FUL, you are quite right. FUL, who held that building down for such a long time, but Bandits took it off them and took the points off of them as well. But this is how we look after our first 2 games, Andy. Ultra and Crypto both banned now, as 3 men will sit on top with 23 points tied with Aurora.
Jumba takes a big, deep breath here as he can now look forward to actually enjoying the rest of the series instead of panicking his way through the ban order. Once again, great to have Jumba on the show. But after the first 2 games, I tell you what, pretty tough for these teams, because all end zone and final circle jokes aside, just tough for a team that did not have success in either of those games to kind of look at their fate and the dice roll of a final circle and think, we just got crunched on, especially if you look at the likes of teams that are playing from far out, right? Stay Healthy, UAV, etc. These teams are playing from very far out of the zone. It's going to be tough, and I think you were completely right. Essentially the IGLs would have been like, same game plan, boys. And in that specific example, a lot of our teams suffered similar fates, but I think worth noting, teams like Bandits able to get into the late game once again. So I think for everyone, they're going to be hoping, let's head to a different part of the map so we don't have to re-roll the same exact mirroring and paths and rotations and chokes.
And of course, if you're enjoying what you're seeing right now, well, you can watch it in even more depth if you want to as well. We have multi-view available for you. You can head over to algs.ea.com to set up your multi-view, and you can watch any POV that you want to, which at the moment, I feel like is a very good option. Get lots of monitors open, get lots of tabs open, because there's a lot of action going down in these first few games. But I love the fact we had our big hitters starting to warm up in game number 2. We'll have to see if that continues in game 3 when we get back after this break. We've got one more E-District. We'll see you then.
Mad Maggie has to be out early, and Newcastle Gibraltar needs to be played a ton. So like Gibraltar can't get banned in first 3 games, and Mad Maggie needs to get banned first 3 games if Olympus is on the back end of a set. If Maggie's gone and Gibraltar's still in when Olympus comes up, it's honestly going to be good quality games the whole time. It's nuts. She just makes teams feed. Like, just absolutely fight their cock and balls off. Like, truly, bro. These motherfuckers just get horny the whole way through. Like, genuinely, man. Mad Maggie just doesn't work as a character. That's the problem. I think it does. I think she works out really well as a character, dude. Like honestly, too good to the point where you're straight countering people. Like, genuinely. She's really good at what she does. She provides straight counters to so many different comps. She provides aggression. I think that's the issue, is that she's actually so good at what she does. Truly.
I don't know why the fuck.
Which is overall net negative, man, for quality of a game sometimes, but also a W.
Or why, man, EMP didn't hit him. He must have queued perfectly. But didn't I hit the Wraith on?
No, like, oh, wait, what do you mean?
He's purple as well. So
every team last night in ranked was doing what? Was running Maggie on Olympus? Yeah, you have to. Maggie right now is literally goat meal, bro. You got to run. You got to run it. World's Edge can be deleted, and I wouldn't bat an eye. World's Edge deleted? What? World's Edge deleted is crazy. We got to keep World's Edge in at all costs.
Blow fun. Let's go. go, boys.
We got to keep it.
Let's go.
World's Edge goes, bro. I'll be pissed. I'm so good, honestly, man.
Yeah,
On World's Edge for scrims, but if ALGS happened, bro, and Olympus, not Olympus, and World's Edge is not at LAN, I'd be pissed, bro. Obviously, it's gonna happen today, this time. But yeah, it needs to come back in a rotation for ALGS at some point. If it never enters back, then I'll be furious. Delete E District, ban that guy from every chat. You're a mod in mods. I don't give a fuck if it's even a fucking Pokemon stream. Get the guy out of here. I don't give a fuck if it's just chatting.
Yeah, whoever lands EDAM is not.
Get into every goddamn stream you're modded and ban that guy. All right, here we go, man. Game number 3. Last one on E-District before we head on over to goddamn Olympus. Like I said, bro, who knows what this is going to look like. Truly, we'll see what this last one looks like on ED. Pretty predictable, but the Olympus side of things is something I'm excited to see. That is for damn sure, brother. That is for damn sure. Let's lock on in. Game number motherfucking 3. Don't forget, chat, we got 6 games of EMEA, and then we have 6 games of the Americas at 3 p.m. PST. This might be a little bit of a scrims moment here. Potentially could be a scrims moment. Only 59 and 60 in this lobby. Please no Electrodam. Please no. I'm praying to God, no Electrodam endgame. For the love of all that's good in this world. Do not do this to me. Do not do this to me, man. Oh shit, Faye. Maybe in between matches if you guys want. Of America's EMEA. I'm down.
They're waiting, yeah, to see if you can connect.
Dude, if it's EDAM, we're actually tours. If it's EDAM, I think we genuinely need a algorithm check immediately for these zones. Because I can't see a world where we have 12 games in a row or 11 games in a row of the same zones pulling for every single set. It just can't be right. Well, I kind of wanted to go Electrodam though.
Okay.
Yo, Sandra, thanks for the prime, bro. Tier 1. Lead Farmer, thanks for 23 months. Phoenix, thanks for the 14 months, bro. B Down Ham, thanks for the fucking 21. No Life, thanks for the 9. Carell, thanks for the 13. Flowless, thank you, man. Cactus Jones, 1 month. Thank you, bro. Deli Dove with the prime. Kodiak with 10. Love you guys. Can we get some scripts in the chat, please? Hey, maybe that's the game changer for us. Can we get some scripts in the chat? Maybe now, right in this moment, with this restart, that would have been the Electrodam endgame. And now we won't get one ourselves. Or that was not going to be Electrodam. They restart, and now this next one's going to be Electrodam. Wait a minute. Could go either way. What's the conspiracy theory here? Let's check it out in a little bit. Please let me be wrong or right. I don't know which one yet. Let me be wrong or right, dude. The script is scripting indeed. But, bro, that's the problem. We're not consistently in any other region or any scrim block that I've watched for Americas getting consistent fucking Electrodam endgames, which is why I'm mind blown. Like, it just wasn't happening. Like, I don't know what that is, but it needs to stop immediately. It needs to, the joke needs to end now. Please. Want to see Wig crash out? I don't think I crash out. I'm more so like a, damn, some shit's got to change type shit. A lot of energy bank? Yeah, not a lot of electro. We do get a good amount of EB, for sure. EB over ED. We don't fuck with erectile dysfunction over here on this channel. Oh, what's the kill leader, by the way? I didn't check. Did I? I don't remember. I might have. Let's see. I did. Beamsy 9, and then 4.1K from Babylon's. What are the pick rates so far, too? Let's see real quick. What do we got here, brother? Pick rate, Crypto 97%, Caustic 82. Stinky fuck just makes it through somehow all the goddamn time, bro. I hate it. I hate it. Valk and Newcastle, average placement 2, 2.5% pick rate. That's literally all vicious. Were they running that again this game? I didn't get to see. I hope they are. Do the play the same lobby or open new ones between games? It depends. It's usually new lobbies every single time. Or same. I don't remember. I know for back when I used to play, back in my day, it was new lobby codes. But this might be the same one until something happens. Then you give a new one afterwards. That was definitely a new lobby code there for that after the crash that came through. Why no Valk? A lot of people just not rocking Valk, man. There's really like no reason to run it. If Crypto's in or Mad Maggie's in, I think obviously now with the crypto ban, Valk becomes a little bit easier to play. Courtesy of you rocking, it's more so the characters you pair with Valk more so than the actual EMP itself affecting Valk. It's the characters you have to combo with the Valk gameplay that Crypto and Mad Maggie counter. So that's why we were talking about it earlier. I do think still, man, it is fucking fantastic to run Valk. We just saw exactly, this is the thing, man. And this is where I really like want to hone in on that I'm watching throughout the board of maybe just the ALGS Global Series at an actual international level. Is, dude, I'm seeing motherfuckers run a team comp and not run it correctly. Like, that is a consistent thing now moving forward. There's some dog shit team comps. And there's going to be team comps that majority of us maybe are like, damn, you live like that? Holy shit, good luck. You know what I'm saying? But there's also team comps where we're going to be like, bro, you're playing something obscure, but you're playing it the way it should be played, and it's working out. So, like, there's just one thing I'm seeing, though, across the board from LGS, like, is just so many teams running a comp just because they deem it good, but not playing the characters with a purpose. So it's like, what's the point of playing meta characters if you're not going to play it correctly? What's the point of playing these characters if you're not going to actually run it down the way it should be or play it out the way it should be? And in these situations, like, Vicious was honestly a really nice example. It was honestly, again, a breath of fresh air. Like, running Valk, Maggie, and Newcastle. That is a terrible comp. Like, no matter how you look at it analytically, no matter what standpoint it is, if I see you pick Mad Maggie, Valk, and Newcastle in a game 2 in this meta, I'm going to be like, bro, you are terrible. What are you doing? But then I see you play it the way they just did, and I'm like, hey, wait a minute. You're actually playing it with the purpose of why you picked it. Isn't that incredible, dude? You actually pick something on paper, you play it, and you actually play it correctly, and it kind of works out. Insane, man. Lock on in. Game 3, they're running the same comp. And again, bro, they might have a bad game this one because their comp is just more aggressive, and you have to find certain fights, and sometimes the stars won't align. But I hope they still run it the right way. If you run it the right way and have a bad game, it is what it is. If you run it the wrong way and die early, then you're way more fucking liable for your bad performance. Let's see how this goes. Game number goddamn 3. Aurora coming off a W. Will they go back to back? They looked fucking fantastic. Can they lock on in here? Let's do this shit.
The beacon's there. Again, we don't need it.
Why Newcastle over Jibby? Probably for the resets, bro. With a squad, with a comp like this, the Mad Maggie Valk combination is gonna be landing on people, and if one of them goes down, it's a faster reset with Newcastle with the tack out and then immediate res with the movement, than it is with Jibby in the bubble. So it just makes more sense. It's just faster resets off 3v3s. If one of them dies real quick, I think we have a new zone. Oh my god, based. Base. Yeah!
Yeah.
Zone is going away, brother. I'll be seeing you later. No Electro Dam endgame here for this game 3. Algorithm is back and working as intended. Thank fuck for that indeed. Thank fuck for that indeed. It was the lobby reset. That last game was 100% going to Electro Dam. I don't care what anyone said. Thank God we hit that scrims on it. This my zone actually might be ending towards this fucking Umber Labs. So the zone is pulling to this side. Aurora, after winning the last game, maybe has the best spot off their POI and they're landing just in general. They got to do a hop and a skip for a god tier spot. They've already done it. They're posted up on top side Humber. Where will these boys choose? They got first pickings. What's the real estate going here, man? What's it looking like? I mean, it could be.
All these ones,
Jotsky, honestly.
zone is old town, but either way, we all here.
Let's see, though, man. Hopefully not. Hopefully Olympus is also 3 different zones. You were right and wrong. You know me. Effect running the wingman? Yeah, he's been running it every single week so far, the 2 weeks. Apparently in scrims he was running it too.
The bottom floor of first. Double 2 bot.
This should be a good rotation here for Alliance as well. Should be pretty quick.
Pretty bot around here.
Yo, Swerve, thanks for the 54 months. If you go, brother, love you, dude.
Going for the UAV.
So there we go. Alliance immediately go into the Valk.
Oh no, I didn't.
And the Newcastle and the Gibraltar, which I actually don't mind, bro. Again, not against it. I actually don't mind that comp. I obviously love the Gibraltar and the Newcastle cycle of abilities. It makes it way easier to survive inside the zone. This is our definitely a decent comp once Crypto's gone, in my personal opinion, for sure. I think more teams should be running Valk immediately once Alter's banned. I don't think Wraith is nearly as good as people make her out to be, but that's how I feel at least. I think Wraith is good, obviously, in certain situations, but I'll take Valk on EG and Olympus all day, every day. Don't care. Up, Zeno. But again, Mad Maggie still being in the mix does make it a little bit more dicey, but I don't think EMEA is really a region to consistently play Mad Maggie this early in a set. Trying to see if anyone else has them. No. Valk, Newcastle, Wraith, Newcastle, Mad Maggie on Arctic, Gibraltar, Newcastle, fucking Mad Maggie on Pot, Newcastle, Jibby, then Mad Maggie. We got 3 of our 9 team POVs rocking Mad Maggie, which it's not really going to be that effective compared to how many need to be there to really impact this fucking late game.
Yeah.
My guess is probably, what, 5 to 6 Maggies in the actual lobby itself, which, again, is not going to hurt every single squad. You might be the one that gets shit out of luck and actually caught out against the Maggie team, but fuck it. We take those risks, dude. What's a slight little gamba on our gameplay, bro? Nothing.
Careful.
I'm healing. Yeah, I'm close. Oh shit, they might like force the 5 knots.
Yeah. Let's just go back.
Is that Seer Cat Bang in which POV? Oh, yeah, Seer Cat Bang, correct. Or Seer Cat Maggie for Uchako and UAV. Hate this comp. It's definitely one that I'm not a fan of. With Crypto gone, obviously makes sense for the recon, but this is why you play Valk instead of Seer. But Seer does come in. They play a little more aggressive. Honestly, the zone going to them is pretty good, but also could be bad. But I'm definitely not a huge fan of that one. Don't know how you can really survive topside Humber Labs if everyone wants to move on in if they got Newcastle walls and Gibraltar bubbles down. Your longevity and your lifespans would be a lot less than those guys. Look at this Valk now cruising on in. Good shot, actually. Ew, what the fuck? Ew.
Yeah, low damage.
Oh, wait, they can maybe kill this, dude. They need to look to kill this, I think. No, the fucking scan missing is so ass. Honestly, bro, I would have 100% looked to kill that if I was this team. This is the perfect opportunity for those guys to feed face and get KP down below.
Playing up on the side there.
They should be fine now. I think that team's 100% going to settle. These guys already lost their window of opportunity. Alliance going to fly on in, and they duck tail.
I was going to bubble our calls.
All right. So Alliance just land on the northwest side. Interesting. They go into hotel area or convenience store. Not bad, I guess, but they're going to have the Valkyrie again if need be. So they're going to wait again, wait for the next Valkyrie to come on through. Aurora goes all the way back towards Old Town side. So Aurora is as deep in Humbert and Old Town as you could be inside this next 2 zones. And they have that recon like it is pulling to the back of their area. So Effect and Aurora, after a Game 2 W, have a chance at Game 3 win here too if the zone keeps pulling their way. I always see a Cat Maggie combo. Cat Maggie's not bad. I just don't think it's really good in a Game 3 where only Alter and Crypto are gone. Like I said, I still think Gibraltar Newcastle ability cycle is absolutely fucking so strong. Yo, what up, Jimmy? Thanks for streak of the go, bro. Someone is fighting. Effect is on caustic. Effect is now playing just complete console characters, man. Like, he's obviously playing some certain situations, you know, Wraith or an aggressive character, but Effect now is a little bit more tamed. He's on a leash, brother. Those guys, they're not letting Effect do what he wants to do in every single way, which is nice. It's a good feeling to watch for Aurora. I was a little bit nervous about that. That's going to be, by the way, I believe that's Arctic getting shot and Maggie drilled. It is indeed the front side Humber Labs. No one else really fighting. 20 squads at 60 few to get the fuck out of the zone for the level that's good in this world, please. I saw what happened last game. I can't deal with it again. Get the hell on out. Valkyrie backside, that's not Effect right now. Okay, I was going to say, what the fuck? Leaving off their zone knowledge would be crazy. Kashera and Cash Money and Eclipse also get a good spot inside this zone here too. Not the best. Off their zone recon is definitely nowhere near the best. We'll see what they do in this game too. Y'all, Threnody exit 39 months, bro. We can so much better with Pro League back in action. Goddamn right, brother. Come on, man. Going from MK to roller makes the game so much more boring. The devices don't matter anymore. If you're still listening to devices matter, bro, just don't. Don't matter.
Like right there.
You can rock whatever you want to rock, bro, and still be an S tier player inside of Pro League, inside of ranked. It's about whatever you're best with.
But if we see a team that we think
don't listen to nobody.
This zone or like.
Yo, Reckless, 6 months. Appreciate it, brother. Love you, dude.
Same zone, but we can kill them.
Hope you're having a great night too.
Or whatever. Because I think it's gonna be super ISO.
They low-key matter. Oh, I mean, yeah, if you want to argue that EWC triple MK squad winning and Champ squad triple MK winning lands, you know, last 2 for Apex matter, then yeah, sure. I don't know about you, but I'd say first place maybe matters the most.
We can't kill them. They're gonna go in the building.
No, they're running in the open. They're just running in the open on the wall.
Looks on, big weekend.
You still picking up players based on their device. I wish you nothing but losses. Truly, man. Truly. Correct. Last week, bro. MK on top. Karev had the most damage and most kills for Americas. All right, well, squad's not going to fly on in. Here we go.
Purple armors. Yeah, they're going very deep. They're going ult on. Yeah, someone might be pulling all of ult on, but it's fine. We came back up to birds.
I recommend that Hal go back to MK. No. For 3 years on roller, why the hell would we switch?
They're in the shop
Wait,
already.
I'm gonna classical that. Keep up.
That's just a bad choice. And that's just muscle memory diff, dude. Why would you go back from something that you're winning on when you're also playing for 3 years now, literally nonstop? That makes sense. You know, he has fucking how many hours on controller in his last 3 years? Why the fuck we leave it now? Do I think he needed to go to MNK to actually win lands? Hell no. I think Hal would have won regardless. No, he would have won lands regardless. All right, let's log on to these games, though. Vicious now dying. Vicious land backside. Humber Labs are going to be near affecting company to affect and pot get aggressive. Not pot, Aurora. No, they don't. And now Hoodie with the Reds. They should be good. And honestly, man, VC playing an aggressive comp, but finding their way towards the end game here early, courtesy of one Valcolt feed face. And that's not bad. I really don't mind this at all. This is a pretty good spot, and if the zone does keep pulling towards this side, they'll have a good amount of pressure here moving in towards this fucking late game with the Mad Maggie. So they find an area where they can play a Newcastle wall, and they find an area where the Mad Maggie drill will be effective. They kind of just get a double dip. That's not bad at all, dude. We'll take that. And Aurora now pushing on in.
I'm going back now, I'm going back.
Alliance still on that right side compound. They have not left, man. It's fucking crazy. 20 squads of 59, brother. We are watching just peak ALGS gameplay. No one taking fights that are pointless. Team Pot now moving on in. They go outside of Humber Labs with one single rotation. They actually move more towards north than south, which is very interesting.
Наверное, многоэтажку лучше занять, пацаны. Слышите, го многоэтажку, го многоэтажку. По левой части будет зона.
Wow, they actually went north. They have no zone recon from my POV, what it looks like. Wonder why they moved that way. Hit that shit. Noob tube. One-man army. Hell yeah, sick. That was dope. I love when it hit for 0 damage.
Coming.
But I feel really sure the zone is fucking on us, like deep on us.
Don't go too early on the roof so they don't pre-fire me.
Alright, let's see.
Go in.
Chat, chill with the fucking debate, man. Shit's cringe. Ring console now out here, too. We're active. And we are, dude, what a zone call from Hyarka, man. This man is on his bullshit lately. He is fucking him. What a zone call. It's going south side all the way the fuck back down. And Hyarka now is calling beautiful zones from last week to this week. He is on his shit. And you can hear that man smiling when he was talking right there for the comms, bro, for Aurora. Alliance now landing a little bit on the left side compound. Actually not a bad spot. They can stabilize inside zone. Maggie Drill's not going to be too effective here because they have this corner to play and no one else has an off angle here on the north side. This is actually pretty good. It's pretty solid. Affecting Aurora, all looking to pressure now majority of squads. Kinda in Bandits land across from Aurora in this situation for the end game. Cash Money and Co. still inside. Humbert Arctic's got to move on in later. Another Valco feed face from Feud and Company.
I'm one. I'm low as well. I'm going to insta-bub, okay?
Yeah, just insta-bub.
It's fine. Pixel going to be dead. Bubblegum now gone. Nosuke and make EU great again. Come into the fucking POVs. Pixel going to be dead. Yeah, Pixel's been struggling, huh? What did Pixel get? 10 points in 3 games. Not great. Pixel first team now out. Bubblegum squad. Dead early. 0-point game. Unfortunate. Bro, Hyarka has always been a good zone caller. It's never been the question. I just don't think Hyarka was surrounded by players that he could actually maneuver correctly with in the late games. And honestly, Hyarka's not a bad IGL, but I also think he struggled with team fights and calling when to swing things, calling when to fight in the late games. That was always a struggle of Hyarka. With a squad like Effect and OJ on your team, you get more confidence and learn that skill over time because you're not afraid to go take a fight. Right? Uchako's good. He's nuts. Izadon was great. But Effect and OJ, I think, are still better. And those guys have been on top now for a very long time. All right, well, we'll see what happens here, bro. More KP coming in for the boys over at Arctic Squad. No one else fighting. We still have 19 squads alive in the round 3 closing. This is fucking nuts, dude.
There's not much better we can go, I think.
Hell yeah, Hems. Free, bro. Do what you need to do, man.
Shut up. We just have to kill these teams.
Okay. Okay. It's a Gibby Newcastle teammate. I'm literally permitting.
We should AFK in the door so no.
Dude, I love Chaotic's accent. 3 men gone! Oh my god. 3 men gone! 3 men first place in the overall leaderboard for 2 games in a row are now dead with 2 zeros. Brother, what are we doing? It's clutch or kick moment, and they are fucking definitely getting kicked at this point. 3 men had every opportunity in these fucking first 3 games to have an insane first half of the set, and they have fun with the bag. And now here we go. Alliance, Valko, feed face, Subway. Where are we going? Unlucky already cracked. This is bad. We know right now there is no vacancy.
Right there. I might die, get her, pull me. Pull me.
Oh, this is... They need to pray to God that no... Brother, both defensive characters gone. It's up to the Valk. Unlucky gonna get rezzed immediately. Honestly, Bubble might have been the situation here if they had it up, and it's fine right now. Rez comes out. They should be good. They're safe inside the zone. Dude, they need to make sure that no Maggie LOSs them in this corner or they will get hard fucked for a very long time. They can drop down floors. Luckily, the staircase is in all the way through. 18 squads alive with round 4 closing. Are we out of our minds? Are we out of our minds? Cash Money finds the zone. Arctic's team moving in. Feuda finds the zone. Pot finds the zone. Arctic VC in. Make EU great again in. 18 squads up. Lock on in, baby.
Shops, on the team, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, one left, right. Get away, sorry. Get next to us. Can you butt pick it? Yeah.
Well, peek.
Next to me, no? Next to me,
Good peek, man. Wow, what a call out from Light to get the bump peek going. They get the full kill. Dude, gorgeous job. Love that calm. Very good bump out. Cash Money now dying. DSK going to be eliminated. Arctic now with no Valk trying to move on in. The rotation damn near impossible with 17 squads still up. And Ochako has to literally just go 1v98. I don't see that happening anytime soon, but we'll see. I hate Caustic.
Come back.
Wait, actually getting the res? Those guys are not peeking that? Why is low ground team not peeking this? They're fighting. Bro, they just stick res. Cyril D Disco Ball out. Who the fuck is this now peeking? It's none of our POVs. It's Alliance also not fighting. And Alliance go back up top. Novo going to be eliminated. Novo now gone. And Cash dead again. Cash, I'm going to literally show my ass, brother. Come on. We're on Newcastle, brother. No need to be dying first every single time. We got to lock on in. Phase bubble needs to happen here. Wait, the zone pulls back. The zone goes back north. Everyone in Old Town just got baited. The zone pulls up in between that and Humber Labs. Humber Labs is still in. Aurora and Effect move on up from their building and immediately get a god spot inside the zone. Aurora is on fire. Cash Money getting rezzed. If they can survive this, bro, they actually have a chance at life here, bro, with the way this zone is pulling. Ochako UAV fighting one more time.
I stick the caustic. I'm in.
Everyone from Old Town's got to move back up, brother. Wait, not from Ochako. How are these guys alive? They're not. That makes sense now. Never mind, they are. Never mind, they're not. They get the KP and get the points. That's 5 KP, 14 places, 6-point games. Not the worst. Alliance jump out of their corner like a husband in Vegas. And now they're going to be maybe dying. Bubble gone. It's already bumped. It's fucking now going to be Alliance up to just Aku by himself. And they are fucking dead. Aku actually still alive.
Okay, just chill. Just AFK. Take a shot.
How is Aku in full going to be eliminated? 4th place squad now out. Effect and Aurora are peppering everybody on this walk-in. Kinda, and Bandits find a spot. VC also find a spot. Alliance gone. Wow. Devastating for Alliance. All that work to stay safe in Old Town just for the zone to pull back north. Made in Heaven also now going to be out. Synetic squad gone. Make EU great again. He's in a great spot to maybe win this game. They're on the offside of zone, the slow side. Cash Money Kraber. Infinite ammo. Oh my god. Yo, rip his fucking Molotov. Cash Money, please give me some good shots here, bud. I need it bad. I need it so bad.
King, start getting space outside, like on the walls. Start getting space on the walls.
Please.
I have Havoc cell and I have power booster.
He just needs to get a better.
Give me ult and shit.
Oh my God, Cash, please. For love of all that's good in the world, please get angles, man. You have spots to peek from. You're good. The only squad is left. And never mind. Get the fuck back down, brother. Ducktail. Holy shit, my bad. That's on me, G. My fault. All right, well, here we go. 9 squads, 27. We have so many POVs still up. VC, I would argue, is in the best spot for this zone, other than Nosuke and Cash coming from this side. Whoever wins from this area will maybe have to fight Kinda and the boys over at Bandits on the other side here with the Newcastle wall. This is big time.
Wall forward. Wall forward. Sit on him and wall forward.
Good damage.
Block it.
Trying to res. Can VC stay alive, though? They're getting swamped. All they have is that Newcastle. With the Newcastle now dead, there's going to be bad for the boys at VC.
Chill. Bro, what the fuck?
Why would Clutch stick that res? Are we on Molly water? Balls to the face, hits the wall now. Don't know why we stuck that one. Everyone now beefing. Kinda Bandits getting shots down. Effect Aurora is still in the God spot. It's going to be chaotic now, dead. Vicious eliminated. Adam going to be gone. Multiple teams now fighting. Feud and the boys move up with the Newcastle wall. Cash money, Eclipse out. Kinda Bandits looking for KP. 7 squads of 20. This is round fucking 6. Kinda maybe dead from behind. What a move with attack to stay up for the free shots.
Moving!
I give you 10 below, Okay.
Bro, they're in such a good area. They're in such a good area, man. Stay healthy, gonna be gone. Holy fuck, wait. They have Newcastle wall getting rushed. Brother, they get the Newcastle wall out. I think this is Bandits' game to win. Mamma mia, gonna be eliminated. Oh boy, this is bad. Newcastle wall need. Oh my God, the bubble out. They're Valkyrie. They can take their wall. Those guys left the Valkyrie.
One.
And they get the Newcastle wall. Last squad on the inside.
They're inside.
Is that Aurora? Who?
Had so much zone inside.
They can remove it. Why is they breaking it?
The zone was inside?
Yep.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's why I said if
Oh
we have
my
tactical,
God.
that is GG's. It's a GG's.
The zone ended inside the house.
We could have maybe got him close if we picked
I have no idea who just won that. GG's, bro. It's Awakened. What is that end game? It ends inside the build. That is fucking so deceiving from the POV we just had on Kinda. That is nuts. I believe Aurora literally left that God spot, by the way. Aurora was inside that building the whole time. And I think they left because they didn't think the zone was going to be still inside that fucking long. So they jump ship from that area.
Yeah.
Oh my God, bro.
Yep.
Never mind. They had to leave. They were fine. They had to leave. They made the right call. Did they have a fight inside they could have took? They did. Brother, that was insane. I mean, great job by Bandits regardless. No, they were doing the right thing. You think so, Adrian? Or what? Is that cap or are you serious?
Yeah.
Bro, they had such a good spot in the endgame too. Aurora actually had great angles. Holy fuck, and a really good cost to go deep. That was a little bit deeper, bro. The effects of it all would have been crazy.
Go. 1, 2, 3, go. Yeah, no kill. Can you fight inside me? Go.
Oh, brother, they were one fight away from winning this game with flying colors, bro. Unfortunate. I mean, great try. Damn, that zone inside that building, that was so deceiving from Kinda and Bandits POV. That was actually so fucking hard. That was insane. Well, GG's, man. That's going to be game 3 now done. The halftime comes out. And look who's on top at halftime, brother. First place, 29 points for Aurora. Great zone calls all around. He's actually doing a fantastic job, Hyarka. I'm so proud of this kid. He is definitely moving different from last year and the couple years before, other than the land when he had in Sapporo. Honestly, he's looking brand new. Aurora's looking still pretty solid regardless. It's going to be Bandits, also a really good team. I mean, don't forget, dude, these guys were fighting for Alliance in the first place of EMEA alongside CTG last year. Bandits is not new to this, bro. They're true to this. And these guys are in second with 28-3. Vicious is a squad that I'm mind blown and surprised by to be in this top 3 after the first half. I didn't expect Vicious with the team comps they're running to do as good as they're doing, but they are killing it. Vicious, 3rd place, 24 points. Pot's going to be tied with that, 4th place, 24 points. 3 men going to be in 5th with 23, Full in 6th with 23. Right now, bro, we have a, 11-point spread from 1st place all the way down to 10th. 11-point spread, man. That's it. 11. That is all. One good game from any of these squads, even Novo. If Novo has a 25-point game, they could get boosted up to the top 5 easily off this game 4. Game 3 ban, give me something good. Escalators. Eels. Unfortunate, bro. That is going to be a Newcastle ban game 3. Wow. So Newcastle gone. Gibraltar in. We're now going to Olympus, where obviously the Jibby might be used for the Tridents. We'll see what it looks like. I'm actually curious how the Maggie's going to play out, bro. That Gibraltar's still in the mix and probably an essential for these games for 4, 5, and 6. Maggie's going to be maybe the best character to play on Olympus for this game 4. We'll see what happens at the halftime break, bro. The kill leader is going to be Beamsy, still at 9. Damage leader is Chaotic with 4.7k. Again, the ban is Newcastle, Crypto, and Alter for the first 3 games. Aurora will enter into Olympus in 1st place for the Olympus POI draft. On the map view here for Olympinus, we have Pixel over at Elysium, Bandits at Gardens, Mamma Mia at Grow Towers. We got Made in Heaven at Gravity Engine, UAV at Rift, Novo at Power Grid, Awakened at Fight Night, 3 men at Stabilizer, Make EU Grid Again at Oasis, Potassium at Turbine. We got HM at Hammond Labs, Aurora at Estates, Vicious at Dockyard, Alliance at Hydro, Havoc at Phase, Pot at Terminal, DSK at Solar, FUL at Summers, Eclipse at Icarus, and Stay Healthy at Bonsai Plaza. Now, in this situation here, too, man, one of the biggest things you got to recognize is only a couple squads here that actually prioritize their first pick on Olympus. That's any squads with the underneath of 20 on their pick. So right here, Rift got 6 for Rift. Our UAV got 6 for Rift, which is their first pick. We got Novo getting Power Grid, right? We got HM and Hammond. We got Aurora picking Estates for their first pick. We got Vicious picking Dockyard, Pot at Terminal, Full at Summers, Eclipse at Icarus, and Stay Healthy at Bonsai. So those are the squads that prioritized their picks here moving into Olympus. Aurora being in first, right? And having that 19th and fucking 20th pick, which is crazy. It's really good, right? They should be good to go, man, overall for this set. I mean, they have a really good start on ED for their second POI. And now on their first POI, they get to go to Estates, which is a solid one on Olympus. So it's a really good chance that if Aurora just plays consistently all the way through, these guys could fucking win this set 100% today. No shadow of doubt. Same thing with Pot. I mean, 9th place, bro, or 9th in terminal pick. And they're what? In 4th place overall. Pot also prioritized their pick. And then Alliance with 21st pick on Hydra. A lot of these guys inside the top 10 are itching to have good Olympus games here. We'll see what happens. And we're going to have game number 4 here in just a little bit. Lock in. Yeah. Let's do this shit, baby. Game of fucking 4. What are we looking like here, bro? Let's see. So Newcastle gone. Yo, Frank, these are 85 months. Favorite type of French fry? I don't know, man. It's a good question. Maybe a fucking curly. Curly's pretty nice. I do like a good old curly fry. To be honest, man. Big fan. I'm new to this. How's the ban decided? The ban is decided by pick rate, bro. So every single game, the most picked character is banned for the rest of the set unless they get unbanned due to the whole character class getting banned. That is the only way, brother. That's the only way. It doesn't really happen right now. Sets of 6 are not really enough to get characters unbanned in this moment with the meta going on. Too many random classes are getting banned throughout each and every game. So as of right now, bro, there's no unbans really happening in the ALGS atmosphere. Sometimes it does drop down, and it does happen, right, when we had the console characters being played repeatedly, so control characters were getting kind of banned, and then unbanned with a caustic usual unban in game number 7. Or game number 6, my apologies. Crisket fries. What the fuck are Crisket fries? I don't know what the hell those are. Let me see real quick. Yo, low-key, I loved KFC fries as a kid. Those fucking banged ass. How's the overall leaderboard work? The one that decides the top 9, 9, 13. It's just based off fixed placement points. So if you get first place in a weekend, you don't get the points that you scored. So for example, right, let's say Aurora scores 85 points today in first place. They don't get overall 85 points to their leaderboard. They only get 25. So right now, Aurora would be in first with 50 if they win the set out. So 25 is first here, man.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
That's how it goes. It's fixed points. It's like 25, 21, 18. I don't know where the fuck it goes, bro. It's like something like that, but it's all fixed points. We're going to watch the VODs on my channel, bro. We put APAC North on YouTube today instead of EMEA. EMEA will not be getting a full YouTube breakdown video. APAC North is getting one this week. Jack, go check if your favorite team is playing themselves today. I am not the main broadcast. I am just a streamer, so I will not be giving full breakdowns as to what squads are playing every single second. Go check that on the website. Big dogs. Love you guys.
Right, and then bringing in, you know, a Watson after that. Tell me the kind of overall thought process in terms of how you played your just comps through both days.
Yeah, so basically we were playing the edge. If you're playing the edge, you just, all you need to do is just get one good fight and then play for the end game. Like, the part of getting one good fight was really good for us. We were succeeding almost every single time. We were ending up in a really bad, in really good spots. But when it comes down to the end games, we need some more practice on the end games, like 100%. If we're gonna succeed in the end games, we're gonna be like winning way more often.
I like that. I like that. I kind of want to go back to just quickly what you were saying about how you don't even like allow there to be bad vibes on the team. Do you feel like that's your responsibility as a member of the squad, or is that something that you think just generally really improves your individual gameplay? Like, why is that so important to you?
It's basically important for any team. Like, you need to be supportive as possible. So it affects your gameplay. It affects your teammates' gameplay. Your vision on the game. It affects everything. This is why it's very important. I think it's not only for us, but for every single team.
It's all about keeping like a clear, calm mindset while you're playing, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that. I love everything that you had to say, and I know it was short, but Alonzi, thank you so much for jumping on and chatting with us. Before I let you go, do you want to do any shout outs or let people know where they can find you?
Yeah. You guys can search Alonzi on Twitch or on Twitter. Also, I noticed like that you guys are not being like so familiar with the name Pryaniki. So next time when you're trying to pronounce it, you can go Pryaniki, like a little bit smoother. Pryaniki, something like that. You can try that again.
Pryaniki.
Yeah. Something like Pryaniki, something like that.
Pryaniki.
Yeah.
Oh, this is perfect.
As smooth as the taste.
Thank you guys. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alonzi, for chatting. Oh my God, that was so nice. Pryaniki.
But by the way, I wasn't making it up. It's a cookie, so that's why I said as smooth as the taste.
I like
you would know that it's food related, bro. We're gonna do a quick update for everybody at home as well. As you can see, we're jumping straight into another region. We thought it'd be good to kind of give you guys a little bit of update what you might have missed in APAC North, because we had a banger of a match day 3 as over there as well. As you can see, very, very close. Reject at the top of the leaderboard, only 1 point separating Reject and Unlimit there, Mark. So I mean, once again, pay attention to all the regions because there's good games everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, this was a crazy day. If you caught some of the action earlier, you'll see like Zeta Division down in 9th place, a little bit of a surprise. And yeah, you know, it's so close in APAC North at the moment. Quite rightly, 1 point deciding who wins it. Behind that, 1 point deciding who's second. 0 points deciding who's in 3rd and 4th. It was a crazy day. Go back and check the VOD if you have the opportunity, because it seems like APAC North is a lot of fun to watch at the moment. It is extremely unpredictable.
And of course, if we're going to check in with APAC North, we have to check in with APAC South as well to see what they did over in their region, because it wasn't as close, Bravo, but once again, we are getting some really solid gameplay. And big shout out, okay, not the best showing, but we have Weibo Gaming coming into the scene. placing the name of Dreamfire.
Yeah, I mean, a massive deal. If you look at just kind of the context of global esports of what that means to have Weibo, as you said, not the best showing, but it's early on in split #1, so we look forward to seeing what Weibo Gaming can do. But also, you got to talk about kind of the kings back to the top of the table, right? Look at the likes of EK Gaming, look at the likes of Wolves. To see them up as high as they are, I think is not going to be a surprise for anyone. But as people think back to champs and want to kind of cheer for this region and look for big success, I think people are going to be happy to see those names already at the top of the table early on in the split.
Absolutely. And of course, if you guys are following along on social media, you'll be able to stay up to date with all of those other regional updates as well. And they will matter when it comes to champs. So make sure you are definitely on top of all of that. But for now, it's time for us to get back into our gameplay. We're switching things up. We're changing maps, but we are going back to our old casters. So guys, dive back into it.
We are old,
the old
but
casters.
You didn't have to really highlight it to everyone. How was your break? Right. I can only presume you took your vitamins, had a little sit down and a stretch, Andy.
Let me tell you what, the nurse fed me my meal, and I was feeling pretty good and locked in until that jab came in from Lauren. But as you said, maybe I will be awoken by the unpredictability of Olympus. By the way, I do want to point out that Newcastle ban is going to be unique because we did not have a Newcastle ban in EMEA at all last week. So that's a pretty big Game 3 ban.
It certainly is. No sudden movements or noises in this game for us because you never know what can happen. But we are changing maps. We are going over to Olympus now, Andy, and I think the conversation around this map has changed this split. I think the fact that there has been more reps for all of our teams on this map, they are far more comfortable knowing what spots to play, how they're going to rotate, and also how they're going to approach things here on Olympus, especially with things like the changes to the Trident. It's not as impactful as it was once when we saw it in the ALGS. Now it's being used in a slightly different way to move from point A to point B, but you can't use it as that indefensible cover.
And it depends also on which team you're talking about, right? Because some teams are using it as an int device, specifically being used driven at other teams, even if they are deep in zone. So obviously that's a little bit less of a trend in EMEA. We'll have to see if that's a big deal in the Americas, but we're underway here in game number 4. It was a fantastic set of games on ED, as you saw with game number 3. It's Aurora that comes in now into the lead, but now let's start things off with Awakened at Fight Night.
Yeah, Awakened, who felt pretty comfortable in that shop in the last game that we did see. Somewhat of a surprising endgame, I will say. I think that a lot of people were probably watching that one going, okay, it's finishing there. But Awakened were like, we knew it was finishing there. That's what I'd be saying anyway. I was like, it's a great zone read.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people, when they saw that, okay, first, all right, okay. So if
let's explain.
You start, Mark. You go ahead.
I was going to say, we've watched quite a lot of scrims over the last few weeks, and it's not a surprise for us to see this zone popping. Grow Towers, Sommer's been a very popular zone, and that little respawn bike shed, Andy, it's got a lot of action over recent weeks.
By the way, Aurora TPs immediately. That's a big note because they're going to see HM here at the central choke of the gateway. They likely won't cross, but Aurora is trying to make a very fast move into Grow. I'm going to also check really quickly to make sure I'm not looking at one of the previous Grow Towers VODs on my map feed.
You're not watching scrims.
Yeah, I think everyone in the community, these teams especially, are well equipped for this endgame.
Well, just looking at the compositions, a lot of Valkyrie once again in these compositions. No Newcastle, though, which is interesting for me. Gibraltar's still not going to be banned, though, so he is in a lot of compositions. We're seeing some Valk, Gibby, Watson compositions as well. A little bit of Maggie being sprinkled about as well, Andy. Still a little bit of Wraith in there as well, which is interesting. And Wraith has been so popular here in this week of EMEA.
Yeah, Aurora right away, as you saw that move, as we just said, let's not forget, they have an Estates drop, so they immediately go to Phase Gate West. They get into the TP, they TP across, and they make a very fast move into the Grow Tower, and they're going to be very happy with the real estate that they have right now.
Yeah, I mean, Hyaka's, his theory is rotate as quickly as possible. I want the best spot we can get and play from there. It's a very different thing, of course, to what Effect has been used to in recent times. It's a very different approach to what Irene has been, used to in recent times, because they have been teams who have either played from edge or you go back with Irene, it's one of the first teams to start kind of counter-rotating and negative rotating into zone and looking for fights back in the day. So this one is, I'd say, a more traditional approach, and Hyaka has got his two teammates, most importantly, to buy into this, and they're having success because of it.
Yeah, worth noting also on Aurora that they had the Gibby. It was almost no Gibby, essentially, in their week 1, so they're bringing that in. Also, you'll notice just now, Mamma Mia is actually holding, I believe it's a split hold of multiple levels, and they're actually going to be able to port out. Ekio tries to port out on the fence for damage. This is a multi-level split hold, really only empowered by Watson to be able to split hold both levels.
Yeah, it's you want to control as much space as you can on these grow towers. At one point, you are going to have to concede.
Yeah.
One of those levels with just the amount of teams with LOS onto you. It's about just survival at that point. But if you can stop teams getting here, it means you're forcing them somewhere else. And if they're going somewhere else, they're going to run into a team that isn't you. So you can just hold that spot for a long time. Aurora, by the way, Effect is going a little bit crazy with that 2x charge rifle. Yeah. I would say that if you get hit by that first in the lobby, like any gun hits you first in the lobby and you get hit by that, you're like, someone's got a charge rifle. Yeah. Like, it's just always like someone's got a charge rifle. Why are they running that?
Yeah, it's kind of like getting whacked in the head first thing in a fight. You're like, all right, I'm up now. I need to know there's charge rifles from distance here.
East one first.
I can handle this now. It's actually going to be Awakened that tries to set TP from Central Gate. Looks like the call is going to be maybe to not take it just yet, but they will have that option if they do want to. Instead, they're just going to hold choke. Maybe it looks like it will be instead just holding and try to walk in, maybe pressure Ivory past Jungle Gym for a bit. They'll hold the choke for now.
Yeah, I think they're just going to wait and try and control this gateway, like you say, and hold out all the teams like NOVO Esports, for example, who are moving through from the Hammond side of the map. If they can do that, their walking's pretty good to this zone. DSK, their walking right now is uncomfortable as Mask. He's got a charge rifle as well. Henchman's got a charge rifle. It's getting a bit Oprah in here, Andy.
It is, and as teams need to move fast, like we said, they will be grabbing whatever they can find. This time it's going to be charge rifle. Zaga goes down as well. It's just Colibri on the run as the Watson.
Yeah, it's going to be the 30-30 doing the work. I mean, charge rifle and 30-30, not two guns I would expect to be as popular as they are at the start of this game, but hey, this is the most, I would say, unpredictable Apex Legends that we've had in quite some time. Yeah. So both guns just showing they can do the damage, and once again, showing that there is, a lot of guns still that are very, very useful at this point in Apex. It's not just a case of a solid loadout, even though I'm sure everyone would love to be running R9 Hemlock,
I was going to say,
given the opportunity.
You have a feeling those two players did not find a Hemlock along the way, but I do want to say, I agree, since essentially the Marksman nerfs, and then a very brief period where the Wingman was favored right before the Hemlock change, we haven't seen a ton of, even the T-Take that you just saw, we haven't seen a ton of 30-30 and charge rifle, to say the very least. So to see them grabbing some early game knocks is always good, as DSK is going to go ahead and reset here at Summers.
Yeah, back into the lecture hall for Summers University. They've taken some harsh lessons so far. We'll have to see if they learn from those mistakes and are able to rotate in. Effects, by the way, still doing nasty things with the charge rifle. This time it's Ekio who's going to be going down, as HM will be swapping out a few batteries, making sure that everyone's as healthy as they can be. The loot is dispersed, and you can also see this an early rotate for them, Andy, because they don't have too many attachments to play with. They have managed to get up to blue, though, which is always important when you're early rotating.
Yeah, and let's note HM now on the Wraith Maggie, a very different, as we saw them earlier, of course, on Baby Comp playing the Gibby Newcastle. Now that the Newcastle ban is in, they will not be on that comp. Also, I'm not kidding, this team loves to play wide. You might have seen in the last game, by the way, they were the Old Town team, and when we checked in with them on an Old Town end zone, essentially, at Humber, they were at Neon. So that tells you just how wide this team likes to go.
Yeah, they were moving through checkpoint. I think when I checked, I was like, oh, okay, your last team into zone. That's what can happen, right? They wanted to get to purple, and they made it work. Well, this is the lay of the land. This is the lobby at the moment, and I think there's a lot of playable spots here that are more playable because of the lack of Maggie that I'm seeing. There is a few Maggies in the lobby, but it's not like overpopulating the lobby. So that wall, the pockets on the walls there, they become a little bit more playable here, Andy, than they would if it was a Maggie-heavy lobby.
Yeah, everyone's kind of running, overall, it's modified Baby Comp, right? It's Gibby, Valk, X. So you're seeing a lot of Watsons, obviously, in that role. You're even seeing Acoustic in that role. So everyone's kind of playing the unpredictability of the difficulty of the moves on Olympus. We just want to be able, essentially, to Valk and Bubble. And like you pointed out earlier, Mark, so well, it's Bubble, Valk, Bubble on each side of it.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at the spread on the zone. In history in ALGS, you would see more teams already deep inside of that zone, making you great again, by the way, struggling to fulfill their purpose at the moment, as they will be out early in the lobby this time around. Pot, though, I talked about the bike sheds. This is the one. Yep. This is where this end zone has been taking place quite a lot of the time, and they do have a Watson here to try and eat up some damage, but the Maggie will still manage to cut through and do a little bit too much to Taskmaster for my liking.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about comp-wise on these bike sheds. Like you said, because they have the Watson, not only are they fencing the doors, as we're also going to see Novo picking up some kills on 3 men. Elsewhere, though, if we talk about those bike sheds, having not only the fences is important, but having the gen and being able to also kind of counter drill the other bike shed if some team takes it, all 3 of those things are going to be pretty important. 3 men will be able to reset here at Bottom Gardens.
Yeah, getting up to purple is always good as well. Gibby, of course, going to be picking that support perk to get players back up to their feet and get them healing almost immediately. And it looks like we'll have round 2 of this fight. You've got Novo having a look at 3 men. The Vicious are kind of just scarting past this on their trident, by the way, on the top of your screen. You can see they're like, what's up, boys? This looks like fun, but we're going to leave you to it. Maybe they'll turn back if they see a couple of knocks in the kill feed. It looks like the Vicious are actually going to hit the survey beacon and maybe just hold the 2 teams out. But for now, it's just a constant battle between Novo and 3 men.
Yeah, you talk about this is still pretty far out. It's teams just trying to really hold their space here, and neither a fight that either of them would have wanted to get into, given their drops. Of course, not incredibly surprising that they're here. By the way, this is going to be an E exit, I believe. A little bit of a wiggle from the trident. So, as I said, this is not a fight that these 2 teams want to be in, to be honest. It gets ugly at a States, and it's just going to be a GTA out of there.
Yeah, I love the fact that when people kind of strafe in the trident, it's the equivalent of like when you ask a child like how they drive a car and they just hold the wheel and just go left and right, and it's like, yeah, that's literally what you're doing.
It is exactly it. They will be so well equipped to play Apex Legends on trident maps, without a doubt. Here's the flight coming in from 3 men.
I can't wait to see the first Apex Legends Pro that moves over to the full racing rig as their input. I have to speak with League Ops to see if that's going to be allowed on LAN. It certainly might be a bit of a problem when it comes to setup and moving it in and out of the booths. But 3 men are going to be able to land, and they are going to be safe for now. So they avoid the fight, and they will share these buildings. Alongside the team in front of them here is going to be Pixel Lumina, who are closest to them.
Yeah, Pixel Lumina holding this. And it looks like Pixel Lumina probably was trying to split hold. Generally on these builds, you want to split hold as long as you can. Here comes the push.
Yeah, this is going to be catwalled off so they don't get shot in the back. They know that knock came in, but there's the bubble. And that's an EMP bubble. So if you step into that one, you're going to take a little bit of a tick. So they decide, not today. NOVO Esports have been eliminated in the meantime. It was going to be the Vicious who finally got involved in the fight over at Gardens, and they won it pretty comfortably. All 3 players still alive.
Yeah, also that nade angle as they were pushing tells me there was a team like back grow that was trying to maybe just kind of 3P from distance, and probably made that fight a little bit less attractive than it may have initially looked. So like you said, they're just going to coexist here on the bottom. I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest, if the zone goes in. If the zone goes exactly in between the bike sheds and the grow towers, Mark. I wouldn't.
Yeah, that was exactly the point you were going to make. 100%. Well, UAV are going to move in right alongside Pot, and the little kind of neighborhood that you were talking about being difficult to coexist in has kind of populated at this point. Both bike sheds are taken, and Pot and UAV are probably thinking we can coexist here if we wanted to. And get some good points on the board. Beautiful spray coming in from Hack is there. And that's going to be DSK dealt with. That is Alliance fighting at their best.
Wow. I mean, beautifully done. Perfect timing from our observers to get on the POV of Hawkins, as you said, with that 99 spray to just turn the corner, as he did against, I believe, Staga, to just get a clean wipe. But Summers North and Unlucky is doing a little bit of strafe driving as well, and just playing a little bit of angles here.
I want him breathalyzed. How he's doing that. That's insane from Unlucky.
Oh, God. Okay, speaking of these 2 builds, as I said, they would both be fenced up. They would both be genned up. They will be pretty good strongholds. If you think about the teams in this lobby, you could bet that both of them, I think actually only the left one, the northernmost one, probably is going to be a Gibby team, so that could provide some fighting differences. But now on board with Havoc Legends here, currently sat in 13th. So as an open team, they're going to be pretty happy with their split one so far, but we'll see if they can put even more points on the board.
Now this is the area of the map I like to refer to as the jungle gym, because it is very, very difficult to bounce around in here without finding someone having some sort of an angle on you. It's almost like a... What's the program called? Ninja Warrior. Ninja Warrior. Yes. It reminds me of Ninja Warrior.
It is quite Ninja Warrior indeed, and it feels just as dangerous, to be completely honest, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of a lot of broken necks on that show, and a lot of broken hearts when you find yourself in a death box. Not a lot of clean fights that happen there. As we take a look at Aurora, still holding height at Grow, and it will actually be Made in Heaven taking the low ground below them in this Grow Tower.
Aurora sitting in first place. You can see the leaderboard on the left-hand side after our first 3 games as well. And Aurora smartly just making sure they play from the highest spot. They've got the ramps fenced up as well, so they shouldn't be too worried about a little cheeky peek coming up on those head glitches. And they will be safe for now. Their attention's turning towards the garden side, though. You can see teams are going to be rotating in. You see Gibby ults going down. You see Watson Gens eating those up. And that's the angle they're most vulnerable from here. If they can win that fight and hold those teams out, Andy, they're in a fantastic spot here to extend their lead.
Absolutely. You got to also note on Aurora, the fact that they're on Gibby Wraith will give them such late game, rotate options off of the top of that Grow Tower. It can be hellish when you have to drop off the Grow Tower either into the area between the towers or the open field. It's awful dropping down. You're going to get focused by everyone looking towards the towers. If they can instead set TP, bubble right away, play space, choose what side of the wall they want to play, it'll be a really good exit strategy for them, unlike other teams around them. Yeah, really interesting options for them should they survive the onslaught that's coming their way from the likes of the Vicious. Now, the Vicious are going to push onto Awake, and the Maggie Drill is going to force them down, but there's Aurora just poking and prodding, and the Vicious have got a very sticky situation to work their way out of now. They do have Valkyrie in the composition, though, and they do have themselves on purple armors, if I wasn't mistaken. So they can get up into the skies pretty quickly here and overtake this traffic that's in front of them. Yeah, it will be Val Gibby for them, as you said. So they've got their backs clear top ramp. They'll need to move, like you said, but to be able to... The angle of the ramp probably lets them Valkyrie for free, and they can save bubble for exactly when they land. So they should be able to get out of this, but here's the push. Yeah, we got a little bit of a coexisting going on the second level of this Grow Tower. Aku with the Kraber in his hands. Phoenix is down. Oh, and so is Cinetic. Gets put to bed early by the young man. That is what this man was added for, his ability to hit shots when it counts, and he pre-aims it, hits a beautiful shot to get that knock as they will hold their ground up top. And all of this while Aurora just sit on that top level of the cake on the Grow Tower, allowing Alliance to deal with the teams that are below them. Down on the low ground, on the other Grow Tower, that is going to be out of zone. There's about 6 teams, if I'm not mistaken, all stacked up on each other. The Vicious have been eliminated. Havoc Legends are gone as well, as Mamma Mia look to clean up some damage, as this Gibby bubble will be dropping very soon. Yeah, like you said, this is the Grow Tower that's completely excluded, so these 3 teams need to find their way out, and you can bet that only 1 team will make it out alive. Oh, this Thermite could cook in more than one way when it comes to damage, when it comes to influencing the way this fight goes, but from a distance, there's damage coming in as well. Mamma Mia will pop that bubble down to get Ekio back to his feet, and also get some fences down in the bubble to make sure they can't get pushed. They will reset for now. Very nicely done. That looked like it was going to be dangerous with a third party potentially getting involved, and now back to the bike sheds. It's Pot trying to push in on UAV. Bubble going to be expelled here. I tell you what, Taskmaster can take the tick here if he needs to and just fly up above. The Gibby ult does go down, but they've got a Watson Gen. They are absolutely surrounding UAV at this point. That Maggie Drill could go crazy in a few seconds' time, but the bubble is back already. They will be able to survive, and also, that's a warning to Pot. The PK shot coming in. They don't want to get too close, otherwise they could get chunked, but now the damage is done. Now the swing comes in, and it's always felt like this fight was going one way, Andy. Yeah, really nicely done. Even though they'll set the little bit of a void, it looks like they will be able to wipe that. Aurora versus Alliance! And it's Aurora who get run over by Alliance. Wow, that could change things. Word, as Aku picked a game to pop off, already hit that first shot, doesn't connect on that one, but like you said, the bigger deal will be the Alliance wipe, not just for the rivalry, but also for the space. Oh, no! Okay, Aku. Okay, buddy. It seems like you've woken up and it seems like you're ready to take over. Gibby Bubble will go down as HM will be eliminated. Aku's just looking for more picks with the big gun here. There's going to be 1 player in zone. Doesn't quite connect this time around, but we're into our top 10 as the defensive bombardment starts to sing down on the open ground. This is a shooting gallery for them. They're just picking in between Gibby Bubs. The team's in open space just trying to bubble into some sort of cover, but right now it is free picking for Aku. Yeah, 150 more. The bubble goes down. That won't be a kill going his way. And it's time to switch out for essentially whatever gun he wants with the amount of death boxes that are available. The Kraber does his job though, and Aku certainly does his. Aurora eliminated from the lobby. Alliance hold the tower on their own right now. Beamsy in orbit. Beamsy's going to be able to get up. It's a tougher trip for Orbit now as Eclipse is trying to stay alive. I don't think they're going to be able to do it on this low ground here. King's just trying to play the knock of Kashera. Catch here. Roller Flagger still in the game on the Valk. It's not going to be easy reset along the rock, but they look safe for now. Pot eliminated a few moments ago as well, and Mamma Mia will join them. Top 5 now as the zone pulls towards the lip of that tower. Down on that low ground, Beams in orbit.
Wouldn't be surprised to take to the skies in a few seconds time as well. They have the Valk in the composition. Trying to finish off these knocks first is going to be Eclipse. Now that wall is going to be essentially where this game ends. And it's going to be Eclipse who own it for now, but they will be focused by multiple teams, and there's a res happening right next to them. And now the bubble fight takes place, Eva in the hand of Kishera.
I was going to say a rare Eva 8 wrapping at this stage of the game, but he's going to try to at least hold this side. They know there's still going to be pressure as well from that western side, so need to be careful from both angles here.
You're seeing probably kill statistics for guns pop up that we haven't seen in the first 2 match days. Certainly today we've seen the Volt, we've seen the charge rifle, we've seen the Eva 8 now in the hands of Kishera. When you've got Gibraltar on your team, no surprise to see those shotguns becoming something that becomes effective. FUL will be eliminated. They are gone next. 4 squads now remain, as it looks like Eclipse is taking a little bit more damage, trying to share this wall with Pixel Lumina.
What a bubble from Kings, the young gun here, of course, originally from the Americas, now changing regions here to EMEA to play alongside Kishera, and a beautiful bubble lets them wrap there on Pixel Lumina.
While all this is happening, Alliance are just looking to fire down. By the way, Unlucky has 8 kills in this game. Pixel Lumina have been eliminated, and now Unlucky looks for more. Bubble is down as the rest of this team on the tower start to slide towards them. Unlucky, alongside Aku, will get that first knock and send Cinetic up into the sky to try and just find a way to get a placement point.
Yeah, Tyler unable to get back in that bubble. That's going to leave them in a dire spot as Alliance tries to wipe here. Still 3 squads left, but partial squads against Alliance.
Yeah, the gen is making all the difference here. The bubble is down. It's a 3-man still up on Eclipse. Made in Heaven just down to 2 though. Alliance trying to take their time, bide their time. Look for this extra kill on the solo before they take the 3v3. Kishera's gonna swing. He goes to sleep, and Alliance dominate. Game number 4. Here on Olympus, that was a monster game from them.
Absolutely unbelievable execution there. They leave the top of the Grow Tower first. They're the first ones to bubble forward. Then they turn around fully 180 to take a look at Made in Heaven. Made in Heaven bubbles second, but you notice Tyler didn't get back in the bubble on the Grow Tower. That immediately isolates. He gets completely focused and sprayed, and beautifully systematically done. Then they finish the Made in Heaven fight while keeping Eclipse at bay. Then they wrap the Gibby ult, any of them, I don't know, the second ult, Gibby ult, the third Gibby ult, all of them just wreaking havoc on the other side of the wall. Really, really great game there from Alliance.
Yeah, one thing that really stood out to me there is the comms in the endgame. You can tell that everyone is on the same level of communication and level of understanding. The way that they just flip round to deal with the solo, everybody takes him down immediately, so he is a non-threat. And then once the swing comes in, everybody committed to it. Beautiful stuff from Alliance. 30 points on the board, 18 KP. Alliance are back.
There you go. I mean, I think people were waiting for what's it going to take for this team to get on the same page chemistry-wise. Even Aku, as we said, speaking about that in interviews. I mean, a 30-point game, I think, tells us everything we need to know. If there were doubts about where Alliance are, I think they can be put to rest. This team is looking good.
Yeah, incredible performance from them, and it will be such a confidence builder for them as well. Gibraltar, though, that's the end of your series for today. He will be banned next, so no Gibraltar in matches 5 and 6 today. Not going to be seeing too much of those bubbles going down, but it was good to see the action in that previous game. Alliance, though, Lauren, I mean, look good.
I mean, that we were waiting to see what would happen when they hit that dangerous level of chemistry where they are able to kind of put on or go into fights in the way that we know that they are capable of doing, whether that's as individual players or now as this new version of Alliance. And a 30-point game is a perfect way to illustrate that. Okay, Andy, I'm not gonna make you wait. What are you oohing about?
Okay, Aurora was up by 1 going into that game, and just off the 30-pointer, Alliance up at 49 with 31 KP, over double that of Aurora. I mean, it's a statement, and it's a change of pace from week number 1.
I mean, and honestly, the leaderboard outside of Alliance right now is actually looking very close. You're then tied between Aurora and Pod, who are 2 teams we were looking at heading into this, and now it's all about Alliance. What are they doing? What are they bringing to the table? And we're getting to take an individual look at Aku, Mark, and these the numbers kill-wise are kind of crazy.
Yeah, kind of crazy, right? I mean, these two are going to be compared for quite some time, understandably so. It was Effect who took the headlines in week number 1 on match days where we saw him popping off, but it's Aku who is answering back now in match day number 3. 12 kills already. A huge amount of damage coming out from him as well, although you can know Effect is holding his own when it comes to the damage too, but this is the difference, right? This is match day 2. You know, Effect wins it that time around, but Aurora certainly did win it in the overalls.
Dang. I mean, both individually insane players, and this is going to be a storyline that we are obviously going to be paying attention to throughout the rest of the split. We knew that Effect going to a new roster was going to be absolutely insane, Andy, and not surprising that Aurora's doing well, but this is now what we're looking for out of Alliance.
I mean, a 30-point game, it's a statement, right? The 18 KP. It's just, that's not just a win. I mean, that's them playing. Also, let's not forget, they had to overtake Aurora's spot and wipe Aurora in that game on top of Grow Tower, where you're inevitably going to have at least several, if not the whole lobby looking at you. So I think the way they had to do it just now to overtake them in the standings was just like very poetic for the inevitable storyline that we're going to keep following between these two teams. They're going to take the lead here, but let's not forget, match day is not done. There's still 2 games to play here.
Yeah, and I do want to shout out one other team too. Struggled in that last match, if I'm not mistaken. I think they went out in 17th. I'm specifically talking about Bandits. And the only reason I'm calling out this squad is because we saw a very different performance from them in match day 2. And we know how talented this team is, Mark, but right now they're just being a little bit slow.
Yeah, a little bit difficult for them to get going in this game. There's been a few opportunities for them, but there's been a few spots I felt like it's very difficult sometimes to kind of explain this to someone who's watching. Like, a good spot can be a bad spot, and it can be a good spot.
Yeah.
A bad spot can be a good spot depending on what point of the game that you are in. You know, we saw them play under the bridge very, very early in one of the games on one of those Electro Dams games, and you see teams win from that. But you can't play it while there's 15 teams alive. It's a very different situation to when there's 5 or 6 teams alive. So it seems like they've had a decent-ish start to the day, some good fights, but a few little decisions that haven't quite gone their way. And I think when you look at the leaderboards, they dropped down significantly in that previous game. And I think that's kind of a contributor of Alliance having the massive game, of course, but how close the rest of the lobby is behind Alliance. I think that for Bandits, the day is not done yet. There's still 2 games to go, but they've got to be very, very careful here. It's a kind of all or nothing performance. 19th, 5th, 3rd, 17th kind of says it all.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I misspoke. It wasn't match day 2. It was their match day 1 performance. But that was when they were also able to get a 17 kill win in the second game of the day. So definitely a little bit of yo-yo effect as we're seeing for some of these teams, but still time left for them to kind of pick it back up in these last 2 match opportunities here on Olympus. Any thoughts for any of the remaining teams here, Andy, that you want to touch on before we get into the last 2 matches of the day?
I think for Bandits, the one thing I'll say is, Lauren, you picked out the exact, I think, talking point for them. A 17 kill second place describes their whole match day, because, as we said, they were negative 3,500 damage on the day. So the only way you get that kind of stat line is if you're getting pretty bullied, but whether by zone or other teams, and resetting pretty heavily. And then to place 3rd like they did on that match day just tells them the fact that they're able to maybe now focus on the rest of these games and not depend on outliers. Just look for consistency.
100%. We'll see what they're able to do in our next match on the day. Mark, we're gonna give you a break for now, send you away as Andy and I prepare to dive into match number 4. Gibraltar now banned out, no longer an option for these final circle fight moments.
Yeah, and then guess what? If anyone's been watching scrim ban orders for EMEA, even though it was not the case, keep in mind, Newcastle and Gibby not banned in EMEA last week. If you were watching scrims this week, you saw these exact bans coming through. Oftentimes, Gibby and Newcastle would be kind of swapped in terms of the order, but this is what these teams would have expected. So they will not have the comfort of Gibby, which unsurprisingly means we're going to see a lot of teams moving to different kind of cat seer variants, expecting a lot of cat bang seer in this game. Probably still some Valks that'll be played, some Watsons as well, but might be a little bit more of an aggressive game and a lot less cover, that's for sure, Lauren, in terms of the lack of Gibby and Newcastle.
Yeah, give me some Jennies, give me some fences, give me some walls. I want to see a little bit more love back onto our sports. As I say that, we're checking in with Alliance, who has the seer you were talking about, Watson, in here as well, and Bangalore for this next match here on Olympus.
Yeah, Seer, Bang, Watson. Really, the choice here between teams is really just going to be kind of comfort is going to be between that Watson and between that Cat. A lot of teams have ran each of them. I think teams that are playing Cat, of course, unsurprisingly, going to be playing Edge, and kind of related scenarios. Teams that are on the Watson are going to be looking to get in early. And as you said, fence up and gen up. And Alliance, by the way, worth noting, we didn't get to talk about drops on Olympus just yet, just because there's been so much to talk about. But Alliance not too far away from Aurora. Aurora is just at Estates, and Alliance is going to be dropping hydroponics, as you see on your screen. So even though those aren't neighbors per se, there's a lot of potential for mirrored routes, and we might see them meeting each other yet again in the rest of our Olympus games.
I mean, similar situation to what we saw for them POI drop-wise in Egypt as well. Are they doing this on purpose? Are they trying to be near each other right now?
I think they love each other. I think they just want to keep... I don't know if you saw that. I mean, there's a lot of good clips. As we take a look at the zone, by the way, I'll interrupt the banter between us for just a second, as we are going to essentially a bonsai hillside / shifted / solar end here. There's been a lot of these recently as well. And take a look at the bike sheds here. Already early on, it's going to be pot. They love their bike sheds. These guys are big cyclists, and they will be holding down another bike shed here on Olympus.
What a call out. These guys are big cyclists. Somebody clip that, please, because we're going to need that for social media later as we get to see exactly just how long Pot can survive in this very limited cover. Now, the problem is, even if they can handle this fight, as Making You Great Again was eliminated in the kill feed, they could potentially draw the attention of Aurora, who is also in the vicinity, as they are looking... I believe it's HM right now?
It's HM, yeah, great call.
Yeah,
it's HM, who's also, also big cycling enthusiast as well, as they're going to be holding this back. I gotta say, just shout out to Europe overall. It's a much healthier region. Everyone's cycling here. We don't get the same thing in the Americas, but Aurora in trouble. As we joke through that, Effect is not joking, as he's going to have to try to get his teammates up, as they actually run into Havoc Legends, one of our open teams, who's running them down.
See, and this was what I was talking about. If you're going to be in these fights for too long, Aurora thought they were doing the sneaking, but no, they were snuck up upon. Aurora is eliminated in 19th in match number 5 here. So, I mean, that is a polar opposite outcome from what we've been seeing out of that squad. It will free up a little bit of space for Havoc Legends as well, as we leave them and now jump aboard with UAV.
Wow, UAV DSK now fighting in solo. We're going to get back to that fight we just saw, because there's a lot to talk about it. But first, let's get into this breach attempt that's happening here at Solar. As we said, it's UAV pressuring here. DSK on the push. We'll see if they can make it happen.
I think we also have Made in Heaven waiting in the wings to see if there's potential third-party opportunity. As I say that, the shield cracks do come through. Arctic hitting some nice shots. UAV moving in, trying to claim some of this space. This could be a nice win for them with the KP, as DSK is eliminated. But did they draw too much attention their way?
Like you said, Made in Heaven not too far away. Here comes the push. Right at the back door, trying to make it happen. Yes, they did. It's a great call by you, Lauren. UAV will be eliminated as well. That'll be a trade. Made in Heaven comes in. Potassium, by the way, was the 4th team coming in from Choke. Here they come.
Oh, this is a rough spot to be found in right now. To be fair, Made in Heaven did not take the same amount of damage that we saw on behalf of UAV, so this should be a little bit of a different outcome. Potassium able to at least take out Nags. An opportunity for Made in Heaven to maybe disengage and see if they can salvage this situation as Potassium goes on the hunt.
Somehow Tyler gets away there through the trees and the mini bike sheds. He gets away, maybe, but Potassium's trying to chase up Bonsai Hillside, and they're trying to see if they can maybe still pick off these kills.
Ooh. Is it worth the chase? They'll decide here. The breach charge came out, didn't connect. Tyler down in the kill feed though. So that might be just enough, as Bambino instantly changes focus and starts ripping shots at the Hemlock.
Oh, has to hit the Skynade through, but probably going to be a gen that would just presumably just eat that thing up. But the angle looked good to me either way. It's more about the confidence and momentum there. That gives a second to breathe. By the way, Eclipse is going to be holding just kind of height here, Bonsai Icarus area in terms of the back of the map. That gives us a second though to talk about that Aurora and Havoc Legends fight. I have to point out, Havoc Legends lands phase driver. They got that pick 40th. That is a pick, of course, they got the first pick in the draft as a result. That is a pick that normally goes around 26th 26th. So I knew Havoc Legends had to have been happy about a POI like FaZe Driver, and it actually puts them on this specific pull, puts them in an unbelievable spot to catch Effect trying to move, Aurora, and then eventually Effect trying to move from Estates straight into shifted grounds in Bonsai Hillside. So I tell you what, Havoc Legends as an open team, by the way, it's probably, I think in the ALGS, the first Arabic speaking team, that team just has a lot to be proud of, the Saudi Tunisian squad, to take down essentially one of the best in the game, and we'll see if they can make it a big game of it.
Not to mention, just by clearing out Aurora alone, they essentially now own the western side of the ring. No one else is currently in that area, so they have a lot of literal space and time to work with now to keep themselves alive and continue grabbing a little bit more extra KP as our squads are slowly dropping down to 16 now as we get to check in with Awakened.
Yeah, Awakened, the team, of course, as we talk about kind of the comps, deciding to run the cat here and just going to be holding Terminal. Let's actually take a look at, right now they're going to be all alone in Terminal, and I tell you what, if there's a one way to play Terminal, all alone is the best way to play this, because these chokes, they get, not only are they just nasty, but the way that they can invite third parties, it's like a giant version of Galleria. Everyone just wants to poke in one of the four corners. It gets really nasty. But we'll take a look at the actual pull here. And the teams that are actually be playing on the Bonsai building side, Stay Healthy, Alliance, Mamma Mia, they're going to be very happy. And they have a lot of space right now. And it's still Eclipse that's just going to try to gatekeep on that far eastern side overlooking Icarus.
Little bit of a break for some of our squads. You can see Made in Heaven looking to get that reset. They might actually be able, if they had those banners, might be able to get the trio back up. We'll have to wait and see what they're able to do res-wise, if they're able to kind of survive this chaos. Meanwhile, everyone else that's already made their way down to that southern side is literally just lying in wait. There's pretty much nothing for those teams in Bonsai Plaza to do, like you were mentioning. They're all very comfortable. We're really going to be looking at the squads in the north that are having to make those rotations through, whether or not they're running into each other in any of these chokes.
Yeah, that is the nastier of the rotations right now. Taking a look at Made in Heaven here, just looks like Cinetic on the other side of the rock. I'm not sure if Novo Esports knows he's there. You'd think with the proximity they would swing that rock, so they may not know he's there. Novo's trying to gatekeep into the phase gate central. As we take a look at exactly what's going on with them, there's still quite a few teams around this choke, so this could still be a pretty deadly area in terms of the move that they need to make. Maggie Ball comes out for slap, and it does a ton of damage though, as they will get the 3-man knock. First one comes in, second one comes in as well. Only one left to go. What a move it is from Novo.
That was a huge opener for Novo, not only clearing out that space, but completely decimating 3 men in the solo, able to escape, and we'll go look for a reset of some sort. But now Novo owned that space. We did have FUL in the area that was kind of peeking around, trying to see if there was a third-party opportunity. They've now realized that's not about to happen. They back off. There was a solo Made in Heaven trying to come through that way, backs off also to go look for a res closer towards the eastern side, and now this is just loot at the disposal of Novo Esports.
That's a great call from you, and a great call from our observers, by the way. They saw that Made in Heaven player playing the rock, and they play it well. They go and they reset all the way back at Grow Towers, so we'll follow their story in just a bit as we get back over here to Bonsai.
Awaken, the team that won our match number 3 here today, finding themselves now on the western side of this ring, means that they're looking at Havoc Legends. They're looking at Stay Healthy on this side of the map, and things could get a little bit dicey.
I'll tell you what, with no Newcastle playing, and no Gibby as well, but really the Newcastle's the one you want. Playing that height is going to be very difficult. I would recommend a bike shed if you can get to it, and it's going to be 2 of the players that are able to do it. They're going to try to maybe, it's just Swinny left on the bang. He should be able to get a quick res here. We'll see if anyone tries to send it. They might be okay.
Ooh, that was insane.
No, the door gets blown off, probably breached off and naded. Awakened gets taken down. Not even the bike sheds are safe, Lauren.
Aku with the frag. That was unreal from a distance there, able to instantly clear them out. Alliance said if we're going to be here bored, we might as well try to get involved in whatever way we can, and this guy they just decimates Awakened.
Unbelievably done. I have to go back and watch the VOD. They may have even breached the door, since all 3 of them might have henlocks, and then followed it up with a nade. It might have been a very good piece of timing. But by the way, I do want to point out Havoc Legends, the team that we saw take down Aurora, they are still holding the compound in between FaZe Driver and Bonsai. They're going to be very happy with their walk-in. But as you said, Lauren, you called it, I think, perfectly in terms of the split. You have teams that are just playing Bonsai safety, and then you have teams on the north. No one wants to, unsurprisingly, be on Bonsai Hillside whatsoever. They're going to wait to see where this zone pulls to determine what kind of move they need to make.
And this might end up working in favor of Alliance. Even when the next ring shifts, they're still on that slower side of the zone, so they don't really have to do a lot of movement. Everybody else that has not found safety yet from this northern side has to make some big rotations here. Specifically, we get to check back in with Made in Heaven. Like you were saying earlier, they did make their way over to Grow Towers, get that res. They are reset as a 3, but have run into some people along the way. They're trying to escape to safety right now. We'll have to see if they're able to do that.
You probably want to play as deep in Icarus as you can here. That's usually the move out of this choke, even at a different stage of the game, even an earlier stage. The rule is that when you come through that choke, you hit a hard left and you play back of Icarus just to stay as far away as you can from the solar nonsense. But let's go back into the center of shifted ground. It's Pot now finally pushing on HM. They'll get the first knock and they stay healthy through it. Drill goes down from Prestis. This should be a clean wipe from Pop.
How has this been going on for as long as it has? How have they stayed in this area for as long as they have? Time to clean this up and end the cyclist storyline here and now. Okay, take your loot and start your rotation because Havoc Legends are moving up to see what's going on. 3 men eliminated, while FUL are also in that area. Potassium's looking to see if they can do anything. This is the time where things are going to be hectic.
Yeah, by the way, NOVO queued out on the Wraith, so NOVO does get out. It's not a full wipe. Obviously, Pot commands the space. Only one set of cyclists can remain. There's only 3 bikes in the game, so you really only are going to end up with one team that's going to be holding the bike shed. But we'll see if he can play late into the game. Havoc Legends tried to play compound, but now they're finally getting punished and pushed. It's just up to Ayub. He's going to be taking zone damage as well and try to wrap. He cannot. Havoc Legends will go down at the hand of Bandits in the feed. Pixel Lumina taken down as well on the pinch.
Meanwhile, the Vicious, we jump in with them as soon as they lose 1, they lose a 2nd. It's all down to Clutch, who cannot last. They are eliminated. This is all of these teams on the north side. This is the chaos we were talking about. You see NOVO getting involved. Bandits are up there trying to see if they can maybe capitalize on this, and it's just continuing.
Oh, Mamma Mia. Just getting absolutely wrapped around the corner as well off the feed, but now we'll see if Bandits can try to reset. Just a Thermite down on the corner and the wrap and the TP to maybe just try to get a res and reset here on the low ground. Bandits will now look for their next fight as they're able to get back up.
Good decision there to disengage on behalf of Bandits. Things were getting a little bit too chaotic. We'll also, of course, give the opportunity to NOVO Esports to get themselves a reset. And both of those teams on the eastern edge will at least have an opportunity, again, to decide the best course of action to rotate into this next zone.
Yeah, this next zone is
getting a little bit of a flyover, too.
Yeah, this next zone is a pretty vicious pull in terms of what teams all around the final circle will need to do. It's not a straightforward move from the Bonsai teams. They're heading straight east onto the eastern height of that ramp. And all the teams, of course, Bandits and Eclipse that you just saw. Eclipse is going to be gatekeeping Bandits so heavily from that height that borders Icarus. So it's going to be, unsurprisingly, a Valcult coming out here for Orbit and team. And Nuno's still alive on the Wraith.
As you do. As you do. Still opportunities. There's still a couple places where Nono could get a res if he has the banners, but it's all going to boil down to timing. Meanwhile, the fly-in here from FUL. Jenny trying to save their lives right now on this roof as they are looking to move the tiniest bit forward. They have Made in Heaven right below them, and Bandits goes out in the kill feed.
Yeah, Bandits from that low ground was never going to happen. Pot is right next to NOVO. They're trying to make the same route up the hillside with essentially zero cover, and Pot is getting focused. They need to make sure they isolate this fight.
The cat wall will give them a momentary reprieve as Pot are forced to push up and wrap around the wall, see if they can maybe find any of these solo players off in the distance here. And they are on the hunt, but they don't have a lot to work with. This wall will give them a little bit of cover. Hopefully Taskmaster can heal up here, but this is a tough push.
Yeah, Eclipse decides not to pounce on that. And like you said, this wall, they are very, very thankful for that the zone happened to close with this kind of cavernous wall and all this ramp down into Icarus still there. Now, Eclipse is thinking about trying to peek this because they're maybe thinking that they don't have to worry about specific angles, and here comes the climb up.
A little bit of a juke there, trying to see if they can maybe some nice shots, but Pot is already fighting at a disadvantage. The heals are going to try to come through, but you also have Potassium and NOVO fighting on the other sides. NOVO eliminated in the process, and is this a res coming through?
Oh boy, take a look. It's going to be Alliance bringing Hackus back into the game. We'll keep an eye on that, of course, but what we will not be able to keep an eye on is Pot, as ECLIPSE actually plays that slowly. Some people might have been wondering, should ECLIPSE have been a little bit more aggressive from their height? Instead, they let the action come to them. They will take down Pot and eliminate them from the lobby. Alliance does get the respawn on Hackus. They will be back up as a 3-man, and they will currently lead the lobby, and right now have very good positioning in the end game as well.
What a sneaky little move. All the loot at their disposal down there as well, so Hackus should be looted back up on top of being alive and healthy. Alliance looking to see if they can maybe pick up some KP on Mamma Mia, who are within their crosshairs right now. And Mamma Mia is the only full trio who's moved into any sort of space safely for the next ring. So you know Alliance wants to get rid of them if they can.
Yeah, Maiden Heaven elsewhere on top of FUL, those two kind of coexisting in the remaining building that we saw the ult going down on earlier. Now here comes the move from Alliance as everyone tries to make their way up the ramp.
Wide out in the open, free shots for Alliance. Smoke doing a little bit of deterrence as they get even closer to follow up on some of these KP opportunities, and they will not only claim the space, but they are clearing these players out. The fences are going to come down. The Jenny is there, and that was a huge move on behalf of Alliance.
Yeah, huge. They're able to clear out essentially that entire side. It's now Potassium just fighting the remains of ECLIPSE that you're seeing on that side. So that will leave Alliance with still perfect LOS onto that side of the map, but they can largely make sure they're watching elsewhere as they kind of look south towards the rest of Bonsai.
I will point out that we also do have the solo on HM. Right in the same vicinity as Alliance and Mamma Mia, just praying not a single person sneezes in his direction.
I love it. If there's one, look at No, just on the outside of Mamma Mia, just playing for the late game. And hey, sometimes that's what you got to do. He's going to just look for the late game Q to try to set some kind of magic TP in. But for now, Alliance still holding height. Maiden Heaven going to be holding the low ground. And as you see, FUL actually taking a knock there. Orbit goes down. But given the angles, they should be able to get the reset here. Here's the climb.
What are the cover options for this teams either? It's just down to Aku. He cannot clutch that up. Alliance is eliminated. And Nono's still alive!
The climb from Mamma Mia, it's perfectly done. They didn't necessarily get the exact damage they needed, but they knew they were forcing the damage coming in from elsewhere as well. And Alliance, despite holding what was a fantastic piece of space, it's actually Mamma Mia playing the headies on the climb up, especially when you've got a curve. That bike shed, the fact that it offers the curved glass lets you play that as headies. Here comes the ult from FUL.
Oh, that was massive reposition for Full there. They did scare away the solo from ECLIPSE that was in the general vicinity, and they're going to try and set up camp here for a little bit of time and space. The only team they have to be worrying about right next to them is Maiden Heaven, as Mamma Mia are kind of far away, but there is that solo sneaking in. As I say that, FUL starts to go down.
Tell you what, it's very different. A few Watson fences and a gen is not exactly the same as a Newcastle wall or a bubble, as you'll see, and that's why you see the bands coming in earlier for very good reason as Maiden Heaven tries to make their move into the final 5 squads.
No way they get a reset here, right? Mamma Mia is looking to see if they can maybe clear out some of these players. Some nice shots. They're taking a little bit of damage in return as Mamma Mia backs off for just a second. This is a really strong spot for Mamma Mia right now, as everyone else is kind of forced closer together. The solo on ECLIPSE does go down, and now it is our top 3 teams with Nono still hanging in.
Some Italian national team friendly. Oh, Nono's gets spotted out by the Sheila. No! His days might be numbered in the feed. We're going to keep an eye on that. Surely he goes down here, but they know they can't ISO focus the solo. They go ahead and they face south once again to try to rain damage down.
A good idea to change their focus there. Nono's doing everything he can to just juke, and is eventually going to be able to outlast Maiden Heaven in the process.
His face finally almost taken down. He's still on the tree. He cues yet again. Mamma Mia in the end will take him down, and they will be the champion, playing from the low ground, taking down Alliance, having to deal with Nono on the solo Wraith, and in the end closing out the game. Mamma Mia are your champions, not just today, but that'll be their 2nd win of the split already. So very, very good start to the season for Mamma Mia.
Please tell me you saw him take out Nono. I'm sorry. I know we watched Nono for a very long time, but that was insane.
It was. I tell you what, especially from the way he had to slowly just move up from shifted all the way up. Keep in mind, he had to take the same. He was on Wraith. He has to move all the way up. He's not Valk ulting like we usually see him playing on. He had to move all the way up Bonsai Hillside from shifted grounds into the center of Bonsai. And tell you what, he gets him some very good placement points in the end. But it's Mamma Mia, the story of the game. 20 points on the board for them.
Second place. No, just clutched up like none other. Second place, survival, getting 3 KP in the process for the squad. Mamma Mia, yes, with another win going their way. That is massive, but no for me is the Cinderella story of match number 5.
I tell you what, I want to hear their comms too, because I love listening to that team. I love Nono's IGLing. I love the vibes on that squad. And I bet the comms were just positive vibes the whole way through as he moves his way up that. I mean, to play like he did, just the fact that you have a Sheila and 2 others looking at you, I think Mamma Mia, by the way, does very well to not just ISO focus Nono. I think they thought about it for a second, but they realized there's a whole end game we need to focus on. So they leave him for last. And actually, it was mutually beneficial for both of them. Let's take a look here at those series results, though.
100%, and it skyrockets them up the series results leaderboard so far, as they are up 8 places after that win. Wow. That is a massive difference for Mamma Mia. Alliance having created enough of a gap earlier on that they are still comfortable in that top spot. But Made in Heaven jumps up, FUL jumps up, and all of those 3 teams that have now jumped into 2nd, 3rd, and 4th are all in very close to each other, respectively. So, I mean, really fun match out of match number 5 and so far on the series on the day here in EMEA. But if you guys are wondering how you could potentially be up here playing on ALGS, register for our challenger circuit. Okay, registration is open now, April 25th through 27th. The registration for that will close on April 22nd for CC number 2. So make sure you find your team, sign up at battlefy.com/ALGS. Who knows? You could be the next squad that we're talking about here on ALGS. Now, we're not done with the day. We still have one more match left in the series before we get into match number 6. So we're going to send it to a short break. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
So but honestly, I'm not even surprised by no Caustic anymore. I'm actually more surprised by no Maggie. Maggie's just being played so much more in these situations across the world. And there we go, dude. Game number motherfucking 6. Last one up in a little bit. Let's get this little fucking Aku POV. Let's see what happened here, man. They got to watch Aku that game, huh? Yeah, it's this B-stream shit. You're welcome. That's just B-stream type shit. And he has no VOD. He has no VOD. Holy fuck, Aku. I hate you. I hate everything. You're a piece of shit. I hate everything about you. Ain't no way, bro. Oh, he has the clips, though. We're good. Someone clipped in his chat, thank God. Last one for EMEA. Oh, thank you, Birdie. You're the go, man. Love you. It's probably you that posted this one, too. Ew, bro. Dude. Dude, I don't give a fuck. To chow that on 1 HP, I'm going back. This guy re-chowed on 1 HP? Are we out of our fucking minds? Replay that bitch, bro. What? Guy's he's a pubic hair of HP on this fight, and he literally just fucking did that with no aim assist through smoke on roller, by the way. Bro, like, what the fuck? My goodness, bro. And he had another one, too. Where's the kills up top, bro?
Dude, if they hit that drill, I just saw it now.
Fuck is Twitch doing tweaking out? What is this? What the fuck is going on, Twitch? What the fuck is happening? What are you fucking doing? Hello? There we go.
Never mind. Are you trying to get up or some shit? What's their plan? There's nobody gonna go up, right? They're gonna shoot that motherfucker.
Bro, he literally solo wiped this. Was this a 181 that I saw here, or was I tripping?
What the fuck is that?
Oh my.
Okay.
Oh my God. Okay, bro. Nah, man. This was actually Aku just hitting flow state, brother. It's actually just Aku hitting flow state. Holy fuck, man. That's actually full-blown flow state. That is fucking egregious. And Chad, this is why you can't judge roster changes so fast, man. This is why I hated the fucking narratives last week. Alliance is washed. Do you guys think that Hackis and Alliance are no longer good after 2 years of just complete consistency and being one of the best squads in the world? I hate it, man. It takes time, bro.
It's a very late queue. It will be Mamma Mia with another win in split number 1. That's back-to-back days for them to take game wins, excuse me. And also they do it with 8 kills on the board. I tell you what, Mark, this day has flown by already into match number 6.
It really has. It has absolutely flown by. Like you say, match number 6, the final one of the day, is about to start. Watson is banned as well. So the majority of our defensive legends are in the bin for this game number 6, Andy. It really is all to play for. And a little slip up from
a lot going to be riding here on this match number 6 in terms of who comes out ahead and who has the momentum early on in the split.
Well, we hope you've all enjoyed watching today. We've got one more game to go in EMEA. Don't forget, of course, we've got North America coming up a little bit later. The Americas, excuse me, coming up a little bit later on today. But it's only right that we start with the all-Italian lineup. We've got Mamma Mia on our screens, dropping over at Grow Towers, which history would tell us in scrims, Andy, is a pretty good drop spot.
Yeah, generally has been quite good. Mamma Mia, as you said, the proudly all-Italian squad, if it wasn't obvious, taking the game win and doing very well. Also, it had to be, there was some Italian national team friendly fire as Catch, the 18-year-old roller frogger, was one of the other Italians in the lobby. They had to take him down, as well as eventually find NOVO to take the win, but they do just that. Let's not forget, by the way, Mamma Mia plays 13 in week number 1. They're going to be very happy with where they sit, and we are headed to the Northwest.
We are indeed in the compound outside of Oasis, between Oasis and Turbine. Looks like a very, very popular area to play. Now, you'll see teams trying to play the back of Oasis, I would imagine, quite early, or maybe walk in from Estates, but this is a tough zone to play. There is barely any playable space whatsoever here, Andy. If you've got a Valk in your composition, great for arriving late, but the lack of Newcastle and Gibraltar, the fact that they were banned relatively early in this set, means that landing is going to be so unpredictable. It's a very rough zone if you're not there early. Just looking at ring consoles quickly, Fight Night has one that's awakened. Oasis doesn't have one, which is a little bit of a worry. You can see Make EU Great Again having to leave to try and potentially find one, and they're going to find 3 men running towards them from Stabilizer who did have one. So maybe they're going to hit a quick U-turn as Aurora are already at Oasis and already taking the Make EU Great Again POI away from them.
What a move from Aurora as well. They have the Sparrow, so they're going to hit that the beacon as well for free. They're going to get all this info about back Oasis, and they're going to immediately know that Make EU Great Again has been pinched. By the way, Make EU Great Again, seeing 3 men and Awakened on Carrier will immediately signal to them that something is up and the action is coming their way. Let's go ahead, take a look at Dockyard early on.
And you're looking at number 2 in kills for today in Aku. Who's ahead of him? Well, if you're an Alliance fan, good news. It's his teammate Unlucky who is leading the lobby in kills. But it's great to see Alliance finding form today, Andy. I think it was a very welcome return to form for all of them.
It certainly has been. And I think if you watch scrims this week, they were kind of up and down. But overall, when you see the highest of highs that they've been hitting, you're not surprised by what you're seeing today. But if you're an Alliance fan, you are very happy to see it. Already 62 points on the board for this squad with some very big games, and they're looking to end it strong as well.
We've got a little bit of fight taking place outside of Gravity Engine here. It's going to be UAV and Bandits who are having a little poke and a prod and a, shall we say, a polite exchange of words. Maybe not so polite if one of them goes down, as Arctic has to back up here. and just concede a little bit of space to pop those shields. Both teams should think about disengaging, but it looks like the team up on the high ground here actually wants to hold. And why wouldn't you when you have that kind of positional advantage?
Yeah, NOVO's your power grid team, so they kind of have the initial ground, and that's being pushed on by Bandits. Bandits was your Gardens team, so they were trying to make kind of their way in as well. As we see what UAV can do maybe with this pack. Going to give them a little bit of help along the way. It's going to be a brick. It's going to be options of P2020s. It also will be an
little power booster is always good for you. A little power booster just to get that drill back a little bit quicker. That's certainly going to help the Maggie player out a little bit more. So that Wrecking Ball will be coming back a little bit quicker. That drill will be coming back a little bit quicker. All of the options to be aggressive are going to be available a lot more often than teams who do not have that amp at their disposal. DSK down in 19th. It has been a difficult day for them, to say the least. We've seen some rocky moments for them, but with how close the leaderboards always are in certain places going into game number 6, one good game can completely change how the conversation is at the end of the day between the teammates.
Yeah, DSK is going to really hope for a pretty big game in this game number 6, just because they also finished 19th last week as well. So when you think of kind of the pedigree of a player like G Dolphin, going to want to see bigger performances on the board, and maybe you can get just a little bit of momentum, end the match day on a good note.
Well, for now, they're just going to be rotating towards the Evo Harvester to grab a little bit of that and get a little bit closer to getting up to purple shields. They're not too close to any action at the moment. One place there is action, though, is over at Fight Night, aptly named, as Cinetic is going to be pushed by Freaks, but Nags is there to help his teammate out, but there's a few leftover grenades that certainly will force Cinetic to have a little lay down. It's actually UAV who are moving in on this.
Yeah, they want to collapse as well, and they're not the only team around. It's going to be a question of how fast they can wipe. They're already going to get the full kill on Tyler as they continue to move through Fight Night here towards the respawn beacon.
Nags is trying desperately to escape, but he's going to get spotted out. Arctic is after him on the Bangalore. Nags has got no shields, and to be honest with you, as much as I love the guy, he's got no hope. Yeah. That's Made in Heaven eliminated. That'll be 2 teams out of the lobby now. They'll have to watch this one play out in front of them and think about their next match day.
Yeah, and this zone is just going to be so interesting. Like you pointed out earlier, Mark, with the current legend bans that we have, this is going to be so difficult to find space to play unless you're playing Oasis Villa, the compound that's at the end of Carrier, the edges of Fight Night or Oasis. There's not going to be a lot of space to play, so a lot of teams are going to be looking for really late plays and stay along the edge as late as they can, just because, as you said, a lot of the good spots will already be taken without a doubt.
I mean, it's fascinating to look at the map overhead, and you'll get to see it in 35 seconds time when the zone closes, but there's just no teams really in zone because there's nowhere for teams to go.
Yeah.
And play the long game, especially, like you say, being multiplied and amplified by the compositions that are available with the legend bands that have come into play. So we'll jump into a quick listening with FUL as they are taxiing their way somewhere towards zone, but they're taking a little bit of zone damage on their way.
No medkits. Any medkits?
Phoenix here, doing Phoenix here.
Oh, I just can't see range. Is it timing to pop range? I don't know with the Phoenix. When he's just driving, let me in. Just when he start driving.
Yeah, you go.
And then me start driving towards do you even get the light rack at this point? Probably not.
Nah, too late, bro. Do you see anyone?
No.
No.
Just drive straight down?
Yeah, just drive it straight down to this building. You go to the roof of this building on my ping, you see it?
Yeah.
There's probably gonna be a team in power grid holding people out. That's probably the main threat. Yeah, been jumping out here for now.
Gonna go to you.
I'm driving up to you.
Well, they make their way into zone, and it's always a concern to me, and I've been there myself when it's like, I don't have a med kit, I know the perfect timing on that, I have a syringe, I know the perfect timing on that, but I'm never quite sure on the Phoenix kit, if I'm honest with you, depending on what zone it is. You just want your teammate to go, it's this, and you're like, oh yeah, I knew that. Yeah, just confirming. Yeah, all good.
Yep, you and I recently just had a little bit of a heal through Rift, so we know that. That one hit a little bit too close to home, actually, a little bit of PTSD hitting. But I think my favorite piece of comms from that one was they say, are we hitting the, I think they said the light rack in reference to the light arsenal, and one of them just goes, too late, bro. Like, that is the status of this game from their perspective.
But they're doing pretty well so far. They're in 3rd position in the overalls, and they'll be hoping to see Alliance fall early in this lobby, so they might be able to have a big game and steal away the match day from them. DSK, though, they are in, once again, a very, very precarious looking position. It's Havoc Legends who are looking down on them at the moment, and I don't really know how they get out of this. Back over to Fight now, though. It looks like round 2 has kicked off.
Yeah, UAV and Bandits once again kind of taking a ton of damage. Light is already down. Hedgespin's in trouble. That's going to be it. It's a clean wipe on the respawn beacon of Fight Night. Bandits will go down, and UAV, as you said, will win the extended fight. And how fitting at Fight Night to come back for a second round.
Well, good news is third round's about to kick off because Mamma Mia are approaching this right now. But back over to Havoc, Legends, and DSK, which is taking place in a different part of Olympus. Nobody getting that first knock as yet. It's a little bit of a standoff between the two teams. And it looks like DSK might have just been able to escape from the little corner that was the only part that they were safe to a little bit more of an area that they can attack and do a bit more damage. Awesome 2 is up on the high ground with the Hemlock. He's going to get hit with the Seer Q, though. The focus of attention is certainly bringing attention to him. Ayub's down to about 3 or 4 HP. There's a Wrecking Ball which is disappearing into the distance to see if he can find a target on a different team. And for Awesome 2, that's going to be last player alive. He sprays, but that won't be enough. Havoc Legends will be having their game day ended here. DSK will get out of that situation that they really had no right to.
Ooh, Pot was thinking about it, by the way. Pot was going to fly in from a States, and I could just tell on their aerial path that Pot saw how fast the wipe happened for DSK. They opt out of it. They will not take advantage of that as we go here over to Grid, and FUL trying to still get in from the Grid side.
Do get the first knock. That's going to be Black Venom who's falling. And now they're looking to collapse in on this. The team just trying to go for that survey beacon, trying to do it a little bit manually. No Sparrow in the lobby for them to play with. Of course, we do have Sparrow on Aurora. But FUL more than aware to the situation. 43 points, by the way. Very impressive stuff from them so far in this game, and they're going to get up to purple Evo. That means that this Valcolt is going to be a lot more effective than if it was blue. Straight to the skies they go, and they'll be looking to get safe. That zone is starting to cause a problem, and you get the feeling as well, the heals that they expended to get here, Andy, probably pretty low on white meds.
Yeah, we can actually see their entire flight happening right now just due to the timing. So as we said, there's not going to be a ton of options, right? Or I should say, there's a ton of options, but not a ton of cover. So they're maybe just going to try to play this Fight Night build early on, sit on the respawn beacon platform, overlooking all of this, overlooking the carrier UAV, and maybe try to play from there. But they still have Mamma Mia, Stay Healthy, and UAV nearby at Fight Night.
I wonder if a lot of teams have realized with where this zone is, like there's so many few playable areas that it's a KP game. It's a KP game. Find kills on edge. Use the compositions that we have. Try and be aggressive and try and find placement points by just killing everyone that's in front of us. It's an interesting zone that kind of feeds into the legend bands that we've had so far today.
Mamma Mia just playing into zone here and still here on zone 3, so they'll have a little bit of time to try to hit heals, but not going to be easy as we get back into Fight Night. As we said, still 3 teams here. Probably only one of them going to make it out.
FUL are trying to push. Maggie Drill goes in from beams. He doesn't do too much damage though. Switches to that alternator instead. Orbit trying to give him a little bit of cover here on the Valkyrie. There are 3 teams still here, like you say. Arctic tries to fly through though, and Arctic might have just got caught off guard a little bit more than he would have wanted to. Orbit though takes to the skies and gives Arctic a chance. Oh, that's a little bit scary sometimes. You hold that jump button, you press it twice, and all of a sudden you're in the sky as the Valkyrie instead of just jumping down to finish off the kill.
Yeah, what should have been an easy wipe instead had to be maybe a little bit of a heart attack instead, as it will be finally UAV falling, and FUL will take him down. But like you said, made it not look that easy as here comes the third party.
I don't know what the Italian version of the Jaws theme is, but I imagine it's very, very similar in sound. It's going to be FUL, though, who are going to try and escape. Orbit decides, you know what, I'm out of here. He's going to try and survive. He Valcolts up. And Kuro says, I'm going to 1v3! Mask is down! No caustic ult to play with, but he might be able to do this. Forces the Q. He'll find 2! He does it all himself! Kuro, you're an animal!
No, he eventually will go down. We got to see what Orbit's situation is to determine if they will be able to play through this. He's already out of the zone, so he will be able to hit the cells, but my God, somehow stays alive. By the way, those ramp walls were not energized. Does that without fast reload and without infinite ammo. Beautifully done.
I just love the fact that his teammate Orbit's just like, yeah, nice job, man. You killed him all. Oh, nice job. I'm over here. Don't worry about it. Alliance, though, down to 2. Hackis has fallen. 12 squads remain, and if Alliance fall here, it becomes a very, very interesting last few moments. HM have just gone as well. That'll be the end of their day. No magic from NONO in this game.
Got to mention, HM, by the way, was playing for Villa kind of compound right here, Oasis Villa. You see right in the distance, that's where you just saw HM get taken down. Potassium and Aurora are already holding that. So if Aurora plays late game now, this could be an interesting day.
Sumuji just got launched. Absolutely launched by a combination of, we'll call it utility. I don't know what he got hit with, but he stayed alive and he took the brunt of it.
So we take a look at 3 men just playing that back angle, but now it's all about Alliance under pressure.
Unlucky. Last player alive. Naski. He's having a little look at this one, but he's getting shot in the back. He's going to have to give this one up. Oh, Naski is now in trouble. Oh, Naski's down.
He wanted to peek that badly. They will not get the wipe. A lot of damage, but they will not get the kills, the knocks that they were expecting. Unlucky though, ticking from the Maggie drill, and also just has to try to stay alive here. Once that catwall goes down, that mega LOS from Make Europe Great Again is going to open up back again. Alliance will go down.
Alliance are dead, and that makes the last remaining moments of this game, number 6, very, very interesting. 3 men. I've never seen so many nade indicators on one screen, but that is going to be the end of 2 players. Babylons tries to portal behind here just to see if he can clutch the fight. Micey has no idea whatsoever. The spray is good. The triple take shot is even better. And somehow Babylons is picking up KP.
Yeah, he knows it's over, but he does get, as you said, really nicely done to just whip that with the T-take to just get 1 extra KP on the way out. FUL eliminated. Awakened eliminated. This is the close that we were ready for. By the way, zone pulling just off of Oasis Villa to the east, to the front. We'll see where Pixel Lumina can try to go here.
Let's go here.
There we go. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, this will do. To be fair, there's 2 teams now occupying those 2 top rooms, so this becomes a lot safer because no one can push onto you. One of those teams is Aurora. They have a chance here to steal this match day away in this game 6.
They will need a huge game to do it, but let's not forget, with Alliance's exit, Aurora could be getting a lot of KP and placement from their height. As you said, those 3 teams in Oasis Villa keeping each other honest, so they should be able to play well into the late game here.
Pot taking a little bit of damage. They're on 46 points, by the way, after their good start to the day. Wrecking Ball will go in towards Maggot. That's going to be Mega really taking some damage. And it's allowing the rest of Pot to now move a little bit closer to this zone on the outside of the wall. But Pot and Ozus have got to be careful here. He's trying to dodge, he's trying to dive. He gets stunned on his way forward. But being on M&K in these situations is always a little bit of an advantage when you're getting shot.
Yeah, Pot needs to be careful here. They have Stay Healthy kind of just to the northeast. Stay Healthy is commanding an enormous amount of space at the bottom of this, by the way. We have seen zones pull straight onto the bottom of the ramp that goes up to these compounds. And right now, Stay Healthy is not only holding that, but Pot needs to worry about them specifically. Here's a look at the villas once again.
Pixel Lumina down on the low ground. Aurora on the height. Potassium, the team who have been here the longest, they occupy one of those rooms as well. Eclipse playing inside of the paddling pool. Good news is it's only ankle height, that water, so they haven't got to take that in as a concern to their game. Kishera going to bring out the Sheila for now, as they paddle their way back for a few seconds here, but Kishera's got to be careful here. He doesn't have any white meds to play with in the backpack. He's going to have to hope the Kings will drop him some off.
Well, imagine in kiddie pool that instead of saying lifeguard not on duty, it says risk of Maggie drill, which is just a terrifying prospect to think about for any of the young ones joining us here. Make Europe Great Again will be eliminated here in number 7, and now down to our final squads as things consolidate here on Oasis Villa.
And Pot are going to make the play for the high ground. Aurora are going to try and put the pressure onto them. Ozus is going to be taken down. Taskmaster, the last surviving hope. Luckily didn't get looked at in that moment. Might find a few knockdowns to play behind now. And it's Pixel Lumina who did the most of that damage. That's the end of Pot. 5 squads remain.
That was it. Looks like we're able to get, unfortunately, the banners through, not the swaps immediately. And all the spikes coming in, by the way, as I said, from Stay Healthy, still commanding what is it? Even though it's low ground, it's a pretty good spot to hold in our final 5 squads. Eclipse trying to hold on and battling. Oh, it's not safe.
I think Kings just thought, did that tree just shoot me? It just came from nowhere. As Eclipse will be the next team to fall out of the lobby. Aurora are still here. Potassium are alongside them as well. Stay Healthy, though, are the team that control the most space in this lobby, but that can change very quickly if Bambino can hit a shot with his Kraber.
Yeah, if he can open things up, it at least might give them a lot of space on one side to maybe just be a little bit safer instead of having to watch these angles and be so careful with their peaks. If he could just get a little bit of damage in an opener, it might even give them an opportunity to climb. But Aurora now, I love the split hold on height. The 2-for-1 split hold just gives them everything they need here, commanding this game. This should be their game. Even got
Stay Healthy on the outside of this wall. They do have these swaps, like you say, but Stay Healthy are their concern. Stay Healthy just have so much space that they can wait for fights to take place in front of them as everyone has to leave this villa. And although Aurora have the high ground, Hiyaka is going to try and get them potentially into a position safely, I will say, gets his teammate right next to him without taking any risk. But now having used that portal, they don't have a safe way to move from A to B unless Effect has that cat wall available.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, exactly. Expecting a wall here. Also, like you just saw, They're going to have to section an area off, and also they have the swaps available. And now here comes the exact cat wall you said. It goes down.
Such a good cat wall as well. The response comes in as well as the cross marks Olympus in this game. Number 6, Potassium will be eliminated. 3 squads now remain, but Aurora have lost effect here, and they are coming under a huge amount of pressure from grenades from the skies, from their sides, but somehow are surviving until they just cannot take any more. Aurora are out. Pixel Lumina are taking to the skies. 3 Tricks is going to try and get a Valkyrie on this last team alive.
Yeah, just trying to get info, but it's not going to be easy. They should be able to just jump on this here from Pixel Lumina.
Pixel Lumina down to just 1. It would have to be a mega play coming in from Tricks. He finds 1, but can't find the last 2. Stay Healthy will be the champions of game number 6, which brings us to a close here in EMEA. They will bring home that final game win here in match number 6.
So well done in the space that they played, as I said, at the bottom of that on the eastern side, being able to let the teams come off the compound down to you. We've seen teams do that. Think about the DKK win in Americas as well, as they've watched teams come off of the villas. It just gets so crunchy in those buildings, and you see double catwall, chaos, carnage, ults coming down. Stay Healthy just times it perfectly. They only show when they needed to, and they take the game and the final game of the day in EMEA.
Yeah, a fantastic zone to watch in that final moment as well, especially with the comps. I mean, that's a game 1 Olympus. That game looks so different to what that game number 6 did as well. People also chasing points in the final game. The fact that we have no defensive legends available, thanks to the legend bans, means that Stay Healthy are able to take advantage. They get 5 KP, 17 points total, and that will certainly help their overall results when we look at the leaderboards, Andy.
Yeah, certainly a Pixel Lumina able to put a respectable performance on the board, especially given their 19th place last week. They're going to be happy about the momentum, the confidence that might give them heading into the rest of the split as well.
Yeah, very interesting stuff. When we look at the overalls, Alliance fell a little bit earlier than they would have wanted in that game. We saw Unlucky holding on for dear life. NOVO Esports, no points on the board in that one, but Aurora had a chance. It was a thin chance, a slim chance in their game number 6 as they found their way towards the end game, but just not able to survive and get those extra KP they needed for a big, big game.
What a day. You know, I was looking back at the results too, and I was noticing that match number 1, both Aurora and Alliance don't have a good game. Match number 2, they both have a good game, and then from there, the rest of the day, if one of them is on the first page, the other one's on the second page, and they just keep flip-flopping back and forth all day. But it was the pop-off performance, that 30-point game that Alliance got, that puts them at the top of their leaderboard at the end of the day. I mean, Brav, this was an insane performance from them.
Insane. I think in terms of, there's a lot of things that, I should say, a lot of groups of people that are really excited. I think people who are just kind of general fans of the game want to see these two kind of duking out, and especially Alliance fans. I don't think the true Alliance hardcore ever doubted this roster. I think after week 1, there was a lot of talk back and forth. I think Graceful and Dia had to sort something out in some back alley somewhere. But overall, I think Alliance fans are going to be very happy with what they just saw.
And now we get to see what that means for all of our squads across the board, with everyone now having played their 2 series mark. So this is interesting.
Yeah, not many points between the leaderboards and between the spots, which is all good, but the big boys are at the top. You've got Pot on top at the moment with 43. You've got Aurora just behind on 40. I've got to practice this better. I've got to... Priyaniki. Is that it?
Priyaniki.
No.
Priyaniki.
Anyway, Priyaniki. Okay, yeah, 37. Yeah. Tied with Alliance and GG just in behind them, 36.
I thought it sounded great. I thought you crushed that. You know,
Priyaniki. Priyaniki.
I will get it.
By the end of this split, I will get it. Okay.
We will eventually get it. We've got a lot of time left in the split to nail that one down. But if we're talking about Alliance, not only are they at the top of our leaderboard for today, let's take a look at our Sony Endzone kill leaderboard as well, because I see 2 out of the 3 at the tippy top tied as well. I mean, Andy, that is crazy.
I mean, can you ask for a better day from these guys? I mean, so much to be proud of. To have both Aku and Unlucky on 20 kills just says a lot about this team having also role diversity. There's been a lot of talk about how Aurora had such role diversity, with Effect playing controller legends largely, and it was so impressive. Guess what? You got Aku and Unlucky clearly splitting the work, 20 kills apiece, huge days for both of them. But that shows you how well that Hawkes is commanding this squad, right? When you've got players like Aku and Unlucky sharing kills, that means that they're commanding the space, commanding the timings, not only the initial knocks, but the refrags, and just amazing games from them all day long.
Not only that, but they're also pretty similar when it comes to the damage output. both with that 20 KP mark. I mean, we talked about it at the beginning of the show. We wanted to really see what Aku was going to bring to this trio, and he had an impressive performance here today. They definitely have found a rhythm at this point, Mark, and I think we know what to expect out of them moving forward.
Yeah, I think maybe a little bit of the pressure starts to be, just eased off. A lot of eyes on him. You've got to remember, this is a young man who's stepping into a role of one of the best teams in the world. This is a team who has won a LAN championship, and everyone is going to be judging against Effect, who put up some of the craziest numbers we've ever seen when he was on Alliance. So now that he's a little bit more comfortable, now the pressure is off, now the chemistry is starting to flow, and I think that maybe there's an understanding between the players a little bit better. That's why you're seeing Aku do that, and I'm looking forward to seeing if there's a serious game of rock, paper, scissors between Aku and Unlucky to decide who wins the kill leader, because that's how I decide it.
That's actually the official decider is
the ALGS rules. It's in the rulebook.
It's specifically written by Mark himself. Well, we get an opportunity to hear thoughts on that performance, not individually, but also as a team, because we've got Aku ready to chat with us. So welcome. Congratulations on the day. How are you feeling?
Hello. Thank you. I'm feeling pretty well, I think.
You should be, because not only did you have a stellar performance as a team, but you as an individual player absolutely popped off today. So talk to me a little bit about what the move to Alliance has been like so far, this split for you.
Well, it's just been amazing. Like, everyone is like working so hard. Everyone is trying to like have the same goal. Like, everyone wants to win. And I just love that. I have so much passion. They share the same passion. It's just amazing.
I want to jump in with a question here, because you're a young man. This is a huge opportunity for you, and I'm sure that you realize that as well. What has been the learning process for you with Unlucky and Hackis in the weeks before? Because it seems like it's taken a bit of time from my point of view to find a little bit of chemistry in your play styles. But today it felt like things just started to come together really nicely. What has that process been like for you to learn from those two?
Well, at the start, it was a little bit struggling, I would say, but I think now we clocked it like pretty good. We have like, I just play with Unlucky, and we just like both just like try the best to like frag as much as we can, and we have Hackis as support. Like, I've never had like these type of roles before, and like it always took some time to learn, but I think we did a great job today.
Yeah, I certainly think you did. Aku, it's great to have you with us. Congrats on such a big day. I wanted to ask you more about that, because in your preseason interviews, which were fantastic to listen to, I think kind of hearing your attitude on this team and kind of just acknowledging the opportunity with these guys was fantastic. One of the things you mentioned was that you expected it to take about 1 to 2 weeks to nail down fighting synergy. The numbers suggest that you've nailed it down. Is that how you guys are feeling?
Yeah, I think like it's obviously like always like stuff to learn, and you never can be perfect, but I think we got a good baseline now down how to like win like the majority of fights. I think we have that down.
I mean, we talked a lot about comps at the top of the show as well. How do you feel like you slot into this meta right now? Are you enjoying this meta? Do you think this works for, how you guys plan on attacking this split fight-wise?
Well, I would say that like the zone style is like pretty good right now at the moment, but I think we like figure out a good strategy how we approach like the game with strategy and everything like this. So I think we're just doing a great job like how we play. We're playing like hybrid edge type of stuff.
I'm going to jump in with another question here, because I'm feeling greedy, Aku, and it's always good to have an opportunity to talk to you. How important is it for you as well to be alongside and some of the Alliance crew? Because you're at the Alliance HQ at the moment, you spend a bit of time there. And how important is it to you to get to know the people just as people, not just as kind of voices online?
Well, they all been lovely, I must say. Like, it's just been a pleasure working with them. They're all very kindly and nice. So I just have a great time here, and it's amazing.
Any other questions here, Andy, before we say goodbye to Aku?
Gosh, I mean, yeah, just because we got him, I would say, I guess, I'd love to know, Aku, just like in terms of the most difficult thing for you guys to play against right now. Like you said, hybrid edge with a different mix of comps. If we look at scrims or kind of match days, you guys are playing a bunch of different things and making them work. Is there a specific thing that you think is most frustrating to play against right now in terms of whether it's Gibby Newcastles or doors getting breached off every 15 seconds? Is there anything that's the most kind of tricky to play around right now?
Well, the only tricky thing I would say, like just two things, is just Maggie teams. They just like, people force Maggie so hard, and I think it's just bad in my opinion. And the Hemlock Breach is just sometimes a little bit annoying, I would say.
Yes.
Fair.
For sure.
Fair. Well, I mean, an absolutely stellar performance for you, like I said earlier, as well as the squad, especially with a 30-point win at some point in this series. Really, really impressive performance. Before we let you go, any, last thoughts that you have for us? Any shout outs you want to do for anybody online?
Well, just shout out to my team and everyone to Alliance for like supporting me as much as they can. Like being here at the HQ is just helping me a lot. It's just perfect, and my teammates are insane. So thank you for making that decision.
I have one more very quick. Sorry to interrupt. What were your thoughts on FX words about wanting just as long as they outplaced Alliance last week in his interview? Any thoughts on that?
Well, I don't know the guy, so I don't really care. So I don't know.
I love it. Waku, thank you so much for jumping on, taking the time to chat with us. Congratulations again on a fantastic day.
Thank you very much. Have a good day. Thank you.
See you, man.
Great dude. I had to sneak that in at the end.
That was well done.
I love it.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's a storyline we're going to be following throughout the rest of the split. So it was good. It was good to kind of get that in there. But let me get your guys' final thoughts as well, because what a match day for EMEA. So Mark, how are you feeling after that?
Feeling great. Feels good to be back. Honestly, I've been looking forward to casting this game again for a while. And yeah, it was a very fun match day. And of course, this is only half time for today, everybody. Right. So if you've watched EMEA, we've got Americans coming up later. Don't worry. We've got more Apex. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back.
Andy, what it's like, was being back on the mic with us, hanging out, talking Apex, how you feeling?
I feel so great. It has been a blast. Like I said, this day, this first half of the day, thank God, has gone so fast. The games have been amazing. The storylines in EMEA are fantastic. You have the entire Aurora Alliance story, but like Pot and just knocking on the door of all of that, playing completely different comps. Those three teams are playing three different play styles. It's like the storylines in EMEA are already so good. I'm so happy to be back. I can't wait for Americas in just a little bit.
Yeah, we are about to run it back yet again. Before we do that, though, if you guys aren't able to make it later on in the show, don't worry. You can just follow us on social media to keep yourselves up to date with everything that we have going on throughout the entire year at Play Apex Esports on X, YouTube, Insta, and TikTok.